Chapter 30, 370. Sensing the demonic spirit dragon's weak aura, everyone's face relaxed. They did not expect the mission to go so smoothly. Fortunately, they had Zichin with them. Although they did not know why the demon spirit dragon's soul bone was so powerful, they had to admit that his presence made the battle so easy and quick. Yao Ming heaved a sigh of relief and said, "It's severely injured. Let's seal it. After all, a 3-star demon spirit dragon is very valuable." Severely injured? Seal. Valuable. Before the few of them could reply, a low and deep voice suddenly sounded from below. It was the demon spirit dragon. An even more powerful aura swept over from below. The smoke and dust that filled the sky dissipated in an instant. The demon spirit dragon, which was full of wounds, appeared clearly in front of everyone. The wounds on its body were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. An ancient and powerful aura was released from its body. Yao Ming and the others were shocked when they sensed the ancient aura. The ancient aura filled every corner of the planet. The pressure was suffocating. The ancient demon spirit dragon. Xing Ken exclaimed. Her eyes were filled with horror. The other two had the same expression on their faces. Zichen did not understand the meaning of the ancient demon spirit dragon, but he could feel how powerful and terrifying the demon spirit dragon was from the ancient aura. The wounds on the demon spirit dragon's body healed in the blink of an eye. The demon spirit dragon was a high-level life form in the demon tribe. Its combat strength was very strong. The demon spirit dragon was so powerful when it only obtained a wisp of its soul. The real demon spirit dragon was naturally stronger. Zichin could hurt the demon spirit dragon earlier because of the power of the 7 demon bones. Otherwise, he would not have been able to break through its defense. The ancient demon spirit dragon represented the most primitive existence. This kind of demon spirit dragon was extremely rare in the demon tribe. It was equivalent to the ancestor of the demon spirit dragons. The demon spirit dragon was already very strong. If the ancestor of the demon spirit dragon appeared, its combat strength could be imagined. The demon spirit dragon, which had an ancient aura, looked up at the 4 of them. Its cold eyes were filled with coldness. Let's see who will be sealed next. The ancient demon spirit dragon suddenly disappeared. It suddenly appeared beside Xing Ken and lashed out with its tail, causing cracks to appear in the air. With a loud bang, a terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions. Xing Ken coughed up blood and flew backwards. "Brilliant sun!" Yao Ming shouted. His previous attack appeared once again. He carried a sun-like attack and went straight for the ancient demonic dragon. His previous move had directly injured his opponent. However, at this moment, he did not have the slightest bit of confidence. After the ancient demon spirit dragon sent Xing Ken flying, it turned around and looked at him coldly. In the next moment, a dragon roar resounded through the air as it swung its dragon claw down. With a boom, the sun-like attack exploded, and Yao Ming was sent flying by a powerful shockwave. The ancient demon spirit dragon easily passed through the violent energy and flew towards Yulong. Moon Lotus. Yu Lingyi pointed at the ancient devil spirit dragon. Rays of light shot out like seeds towards the ancient devil spirit dragon. Demonic chi surged on the ancient demon spirit dragon's body, and the light spots along the way were all shattered. However, there was still one that entered the ancient demon spirit dragon's body, but this time there was no moon lotus. In fact, there was no other abnormality. Yu Lingyi's expression changed. In the next moment, she was sent flying again by the ancient demon spirit dragon. Fortunately, none of them were extraordinary existences. Their bodies were still intact and they were only injured. Everyone's expression did not look good. Who would have thought that the ancient demon spirit dragon would suddenly become the ancient demon spirit dragon? At this moment, the ancient demon spirit dragon was charging towards Zichin. Zichin was using Thunder Flash to dodge. "Kid from the Sacred Thunder region, I will tear you apart." Demonic chi surged around the ancient demon spirit dragon. The surrounding space began to distort, which affected the performance of Thunder Flash. Zichin dodged in a flash and struck out with a punch again, similarly with full force. However, this punch did not land. Instead, it met the ancient demon spirit dragon's dragon claw. With a loud bang, a powerful shockwave spread out. Zichin and the ancient demon spirit dragon were both sent flying. Zichin, who was sent flying, had blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth. He was also injured. He looked at the other three. The three of them looked terrible. At this moment, they were hesitating. Zichin did not think that the three of them did not do their homework before coming here. Moreover, they were all from different sacred regions. Just their background alone was much more powerful than his. "What? Are you trying to run away?" "Let me tell you, none of you can run away." Demon Spirit Dragon Seal. Demonic chi surged from the ancient demon spirit dragon. An ancient aura filled the entire continent. The sky suddenly darkened. It was as dark as night. One could not even see their own fingers. Demonic chi filled the sky and sealed the entire planet. One after another, demon spirit dragons rolled in the demonic chi. These demon spirit dragons were all formed by seals. "We've been sealed." Xing can wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and said in a low voice. Zichin's expression became serious. Their goal was to seal the demon spirit dragon. Now they were the ones being sealed. Yao Ming looked up at the sky and said in a low voice, "The ancient demon spirit dragon's combat power is very strong. Its defense is even more terrifying. With our strength, it's almost impossible to hurt it. Are we going to use it? Then we'll suffer a loss." Yulong said. Xing said, "Compared to suffering a loss, isn't losing our lives more terrifying?" Yao Ming said, "Since things have come to this, we can only bargain when we return alive." After saying that, a talisman appeared in his hand. The talisman emitted a dazzling light. It was like Xing Chen in the dark night, illuminating the surroundings. At the same time, a talisman appeared in Xing, Can, and Yulong's hands. Other than having many people and secrets, the Sacred Spirit Talisman was also one of the best. It could increase the strength of a sacred spirit regardless of attribute. It was a rare and precious treasure. The reward for the three of them was a talisman each. It was something that could save their lives at a critical moment. There were very few of them, and they were never sold. When the three of them took out their talismans, they were extremely heartbroken. But soon they realized that Zichin did not move. Yulong said, "Zichin, what are you waiting for? Talismans are nothing compared to your life." Zichin smiled bitterly when he heard that. "Would you believe me if I told you that I'm here to return a favor without asking for any reward?" The three of them turned pale when they heard that. Yao Ming said, "Zichin, stop fooling around. You'll die." This ancient demon spirit dragon is a 3-star sacred spirit. Its combat power is far beyond ours. Even if we use the talisman, we may not be able to win. Zichin said, "I'm not lying to you, but I still have a move that's stronger than the previous one." Chapter 3371. Seeing Zichin's serious expression, the three of them were speechless. Was there really such an idiot in the world? To return a favor, he came here to risk his life? However, since things had already come to this, the three of them did not say anything else. They activated their talismans and stuck them on their bodies. A ripple appeared on the talismans, which then merged into their bodies. The next moment, their aura began to skyrocket. The ancient demon, spirit dragon, ignored the three of them and stared at Zichin. "It's the demonic saber of the demon race. Why is it in your hands?" Zichin took a deep breath. Ever since he combined the 7 demonic sabers, he had only attacked once. After reaching the Holy Spirit realm, the demonic saber had not attacked even once. Similarly, the spirit cultivation saber scabbard had been nourishing the demonic saber. Therefore, Zichen's first attack was definitely powerful, and it was also his most powerful attack. He held the saber tightly and said in a deep voice, "You guys go first!" At this moment of life and death, it did not matter who went first. Yao Ming and the other two immediately rushed forward. The powerful attacks from the sun, moon, and star races were displayed once again. Ninefold starfield, open again! In the dark sky, the Xing Chun diagram appeared. The starfields in the diagram opened layer by layer, and countless Xing Chen's swords fell from the sky. After activating the talismans, Xing Chen's swords were even more powerful this time, and they hit the ancient demon spirit dragon. The defensive light on the ancient demon spirit dragon's body immediately dimmed. At the same time, cracks began to appear on the scales that were shining brightly. The ancient demon spirit dragon was in pain. It swept its tail, and many of the swords were shattered. Xing Qing gritted her teeth and formed a seal. Xing Chen's swords were still falling rapidly. The dragon's roar reverberated through the sky, shattering part of the swords. The ancient demon, spirit dragon, soared into the sky. At this moment, Yao Ming arrived with the sun. Sword of Yaoyang. The advancing sun was dazzling. It collided with the ancient demon spirit dragon's dragon claw and exploded. When the energy of the sun exploded, a sword appeared from within. The sword light shone brighter and brighter, directly piercing through the ancient demonic spirit dragon's dragon claw. Just as the ancient demon spirit dragon was in pain, Yulong appeared in a flash. A moon floated above his head, and an arc flew out from the moon. The arc expanded and enveloped the ancient demon spirit dragon's body. Pieces of scales were shattered and blood splattered everywhere. The ancient demon spirit dragon was sent tumbling away. Zichen exhaled heavily before activating Thunder Flash. He arrived behind the ancient demon spirit dragon and gripped the hilt of the demonic saber with his right hand. The ancient demonic dragon's aura suddenly changed as it swept its tail towards Tang Wulin. Thunder Flash. Zichen disappeared and reappeared on the other side. Lightning surged on his body, and the power of lightning converged on the hilt of the saber. At the same time, his complete hand appeared. At this moment, Zichen didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless or hold back. He used his strongest move. The dragon claw approached, bringing with it the power to tear through space as it headed straight for Zichen. Whoosh! Zichen unsheathed his saber. A flash of light streaked across the sky. The world suddenly lit up as if light had returned to the world. The surface of the demonic saber was surrounded by lightning as it swept forward. The dragon claw that was about to land on Zichen suddenly lost all its power and fell to the ground. The saber light didn't disperse. It continued forward and swept past the ancient demon spirit dragon's body. There was a deep wound on the ancient demon spirit dragon's body. Its scales, which had a strong defense, were neatly cut through, revealing the white bones inside. Blood gushed out from the wound like a river of blood. It rolled and screamed in pain. The space around it was distorted even more violently. The three people who used their talismans were shocked when they saw the scene. Obviously, Zichen's saber was even more shocking than the punch from before. Slap! Zichen couldn't dodge in time. His body was hit by the dragon's tail, and he was sent flying. He was coughing up blood. He felt like all the bones in his body were about to fall apart. This is our chance. Do it! Yao Ming shouted in shock. Once again, a powerful force gathered in his palm and turned into a sun. Sword of Yaoyang. At the same time, Yulong pointed her finger in the air. Light spots flowed into the ancient demon spirit dragon's wound. Buzz! As the energy vibrated, lotuses bloomed on the ancient demon spirit dragon's body one after another, devouring its vitality. Xing Chen didn't back down. Countless Xing Chen's swords rained down on the ancient demon spirit dragon. Following the original wound, Yao Ming's sword of Yaoyang tore a second huge wound on the ancient demon spirit dragon's body. However, the ancient demon spirit dragon also showed its prowess. Its powerful energy surged, and the three people were sent flying. At this time, Zi Chen, who had adjusted his breath, moved forward again and slashed down with his saber. Although the power of this slash wasn't as strong as the previous one, it was still Zi Chen's peak attack. The saber light pierced through the air and easily cut through the ancient demon spirit dragon scales, injuring it severely again. The ancient demon spirit dragon had many wounds on its body. Billowing demonic aura wrapped around its wounds, and the wounds began to heal. Not good. Everyone, hurry up. Yao Ming reminded. Everyone attacked again, unleashing all kinds of powerful attacks. Zi Chen also attacked continuously with his saber. Each attack was filled with his full strength. As for the lightning manipulation technique, he didn't dare to use it under such circumstances because he couldn't be sure if the lightning manipulation technique would take away all of his life before it landed. The four of them attacked together. Their teamwork was getting better and better. Although the ancient demon spirit dragon's defense was very strong, it couldn't withstand the continuous attacks of the four people. As they continued to exchange blows, the ancient demon spirit dragon's breath became weaker and weaker. It seemed like it wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. There was a hint of joy on everyone's faces. Right at this moment, the ancient demon spirit dragon suddenly let out a resounding dragon roar, and the seal in the sky suddenly disappeared. The many demon spirit dragons that were hiding in the sky descended from the sky and entered the ancient demon spirit dragon's body. The ancient demon spirit dragon's weak breath became strong again. Feeling the dangerous breath, everyone who had just calmed down changed their expressions again. Zi Chen used Thunder Flash to get closer. He unsheathed his saber again. The sharp saber light entered the original wound and flew out from the other side. It completely penetrated the dragon's body. The ancient demon, spirit dragon, was in pain. It looked at Zi Chen with eyes full of cold, murderous intent. A small demon spirit dragon flew out from its mind and went straight into Zi Chen's sea of consciousness. It was a soul attack. Zi Chen's body trembled. He stood motionless in midair. The ancient demon spirit dragon swung its tail and whipped Zi Chen. Accompanied by the sound of bones breaking, Zi Chen was sent flying. The ancient demon spirit dragon didn't immediately chase after Zi Chen. Instead, it spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood immediately spread out and formed a huge bloody halo. Chapter 3372. Yao Ming's expression changed when he saw the tunnel. He shouted, "Stop it! It's trying to escape." He flew forward, leaving a trail of rainbow light behind him. Star Rain Sword. Fall. Xing Chen pointed at the ancient demon mystical dragon. Xing Chen's sword rain fell. The ancient demon mystical dragon did not dodge. Instead, it took the sword rain head-on and rushed into the blood-red circle. At the same time, Yu Ming's attack was blocked by the dragon as well. As the ancient demon mystical dragon rushed into the tunnel, the entire blood-red tunnel began to distort and become unstable. It could collapse at any time. Moon shadow stabilizes heaven and earth. Yulong made her move. A bright moon appeared in the sky and shone down on the blood-red circle. There was a strange fluctuation in the moonlight. The blood-red circle that was about to collapse became stable again. The tunnel it opened is very far. I can't hold on for long. Yulong said in a low voice. Yao Ming and Xing Chen rushed into the blood-red circle without hesitation. At the same time, a ray of light flew out from Xing Chen's body. Like a chain, it tightly wrapped around Zi Chen and pulled him into the blood-red circle. Although Zi Chen was a 1-star holy spirit. He had shown enough strength in the previous battle. Without Ziqin, they might not have the confidence to deal with the ancient demon mystical dragon. After the three of them entered, Yulong gritted her teeth and rushed into the blood-red circle. Just as he flew into the circle, the bright moon above him exploded with a loud bang. At the same time, the blood-red circle collapsed. After a while, the surroundings returned to silence, but it was a mess. After a long time, 2 people came to this faraway planet. After glancing at the battlefield, they said in a low voice, "Everything is going according to plan." The next moment, the 2 disappeared. Ziqin did not expect that his first battle after becoming a holy spirit would be so embarrassing. Although the ancient demon spirit dragon's attack didn't kill him, it had injured his soul. At the same time, the dragon tail attack had broken his ribs. Fortunately, the 4 of them had joined forces this time. If it had been him alone, he would not have been able to win it all and would have fled long ago. Xingqian looked back at Ziqin and asked, "What do you think?" "He's injured, but he won't die." As Ziqin spoke, he immediately took out a medicinal pill and swallowed it. This was the medicinal pill he had snatched from the battlefield of gods and demons. And in terms of repairing the soul, the god race's medicinal pills were extremely effective. However, it seemed that because Ziqin had already become a holy spirit, these spirit ascension pills were obviously not very effective. Thus, Ziqin swallowed a few more pills to strengthen the effect. Xingqian noticed this. She turned around and looked at Ziqin. "Are you really here to return the favor?" Ziqin nodded and said, "I owed you a favor when I was in the spirit ascension tier, so I came to repay at the moment I broke through." Xingqian said, "Then you'll suffer a loss." Ziqin smiled faintly and said, "It's not a loss. He helped me back then, so it's only right that I help him now." Xingqian continued, "Even if he didn't give you a talisman, he should have at least given you a Holy Spirit healing medicinal pill, right?" Ziqin's body flickered with lightning as he catalyzed the medicinal pill. In addition, his injuries were not too serious, so he had already recovered a lot by now. He said, "Did the ancient demon spirit dragon run away?" Xingqian withdrew the light of energy around Ziqin and said, "Don't worry, Yao Ming has a special tracking method. It can't run away." As if to verify Xingqian's words, Yao Ming, who was traveling through the void, quickly found the traces of the ancient demon spirit dragon. Facing the encirclement of 4 people, the ancient demon spirit dragon was also heavily injured. Otherwise, it would not have run away. While it was healing, when it saw the 4 people coming again, it could only fight again. Ziqin continued to attack with his blade. This was the only move he could use to injure his opponent. As for the other 3, they did not dare to hold back either. It was worth mentioning that the talisman from the sacred shadow sky could be retrieved midway. It was a consumable item that could be used multiple times. After a series of battles, the 4 of them were injured, and the ancient demon spirit dragon's injuries were even more serious. It ran away again. It was the same method that could forcibly pass through space. Yulong locked the passage again, and the 4 people entered it one after another. Yao Ming continued to pursue in front. Ziqin could only continue to swallow medicinal pills to recover from his injuries. Just as Xingqian said, this time he had suffered a great loss. However, thinking about the lightning controlling art that he had obtained, which had helped him resolve many crises, Ziqin slowly felt relieved. The pursuit was still going on, and he did not know how long it would last. Slowly, Ziqin found a problem. It seemed that the 3 of them had different roles. For example, Yao Ming was in charge of tracking. No matter where the ancient demon spirit dragon ran or what method it used to hide, it could not escape from Yao Ming's pursuit. As for Yulong's role, it was even more obvious. No matter how heavily injured she was, she could lock the passage that the ancient demon spirit dragon escaped through. In comparison, Xingqian's role was less complicated. She opened the ninefold starfield and continuously attacked the ancient demon spirit dragon. In fact, this was only on the surface. Xing Can's real role was to lock the ancient demon spirit dragon so that it could not escape. While moving forward, Zichen remembered what Lei Tianshi said. The purpose of these people was to seal, not to kill. There were also some follow-up matters. What he needed to do was to seal the ancient demon spirit dragon with the others. As for the other plans, they would be arranged by Lei Tianshi. Damn it! This holy demon does not believe that you can keep on chasing. After being chased for so many times, the ancient demon spirit dragon was completely enraged. This time, it coughed out a few mouthfuls of dragon blood. Its body had shrunk significantly, as if it had used up a lot of energy. A bigger passage appeared, and it entered the passage. Lock! Yulung's voice was still firm. Countless moonlight shone down and locked the passage. The four of them entered one after another. After coming out of the passage, Zichen noticed that there were some changes in the surroundings. The suppressive force unique to the Saint Spirit realm had disappeared. He gently waved his hand, and the space was torn open. A huge black crack appeared and extended to the distance. Just as Zichen was shocked, Xingqian exclaimed, "We've come to the 10,000 spirit realm." "That's right. It's the aura of the lower realm." Yulung nodded. The 10,000 spirit realm was another area. It was similar to the life star that Zichen came to when he came to the Saint Spirit realm. There were many planets here, and it was a low-level area. In this place, the Saint Spirit realm was no longer suppressed. Zichen looked around and saw many planets. As he extended his spiritual senses, he felt that there were countless living beings living on those planets. There were ordinary humans and human cultivators among them. It entered a low-level world. Let's go after it. Chapter 3373. The ancient demon spirit dragon rushed into a low-level world. Its powerful demonic consciousness immediately spread out and sensed the countless living beings living here. It looked up at the sky and said indifferently, "Didn't you want this holy demon to die? Then this holy demon will perish together with this world." It wasn't clear if this was a threat, but it didn't have any effect. A beam of light descended from the sky and landed on the ancient demon spirit dragon's body. A powerful shockwave spread out. In an instant, about 1/10 of this world was turned into ruins. Wherever the shockwave passed, mountains collapsed, rivers flowed in reverse, and all kinds of destructive phenomena appeared. The ancient demon spirit dragon landed on the ground. Countless holy demon blood splattered in the air and scattered all over the world. When Zichen arrived, what he saw was a tragic scene that looked like the end of the world. And all of this was because Yao Ming and the ancient demon spirit dragon had exchanged a single blow. However, to the living beings and humans of this world, it was like a battle between gods. They could destroy this world and all living beings with a snap of their fingers. "Stop!" Zichen shouted. "If you want to fight, fight outside." As the shockwave spread out, countless living beings died. "Huh." The ancient demon spirit dragon laughed. In the next moment, a dragon roar resounded. The dragon's roar spread out in all directions, bringing with it a tremendous pressure. In an instant, who knew how many humans and living beings were killed? The entire world was in a state of doomsday. During this time, many elderly people were kowtowing to the sky, praying for mercy. There were also some people who were complaining about their sins to the sky, thinking that this was a punishment from the heavens. Many cultivators were running away in panic, terrified. Listening to the voices from afar, Zichen learned that this continent was called True Martial. However, this disaster wasn't a natural disaster, but a man-made one. Yu Lung and Xingqian rushed up and fought the ancient demon spirit dragon. Looking at this scene of destruction, Zichen said loudly, "Stop fighting, go outside, or this place will collapse." Yao Ming said in a low voice, "If we let it escape, it will be very difficult for us to catch it again. It will continue to wreak havoc and destroy many planets and continents. The only thing we can do is to kill it completely here or seal it. Seeing that the three of them had no intention of stopping if they continued to fight like this, all the living beings in this world would die. Zi Chen immediately swooped down and began to attack with his saber. Every strike was at full strength. Blade light flashed. There was demonic power as well as the holy power of thunder. The demonic bone was completely activated by him. Every time the blade fell, the ancient demonic spirit dragon would be severely injured. Dragon scales and dragon blood would fall to the ground. Meanwhile, the ancient demonic spirit dragon was also in a state of rage. It was fighting against them without regard for its own life. They were also injured one after another. After more than 10 slashes, Zi Chen put away his saber. His gaze was cold because more than half of the living beings in this world had died. If this continued, this world would eventually be destroyed. He began to form a hand seal, and lightning flowed around his fingertips. It was the lightning controlling technique. Seal up, seal down. Zi Chen's aura immediately weakened, as if his life force had been sucked away. The sky suddenly lit up. A ray of light pierced through the sky, coming from beyond the sky and landing in this world called True Martial. The ancient demonic spirit dragon that was fighting against the three of them looked up at the sky as if it was facing a great enemy. Lightning struck. A thunderous roar resounded throughout the world. The ancient demonic spirit dragon let out a painful roar as its body fell to the ground. Zi Chen's body that was hovering in the air swayed and almost fell. Yao Ming and the others who were heavily injured saw that the ancient demonic spirit dragon was heavily injured and had almost lost its ability to fight. Their eyes immediately lit up. In the next moment, the three of them flew down. The three of them immediately formed a hand seal and yelled. The ground rumbled as a towering mountain appeared. The ancient demonic spirit dragon was lying on top of the mountain. Zi Chen, it's heavily injured and on the verge of death. Come and form the 4 spirits, demon, sealing formation with us. Shinken shouted. The previous attack had drained Zi Chen greatly. Not only did it consume his energy, but it also consumed his soul and life force. But the effect was also very obvious. The ancient demonic spirit dragon no longer had any ability to fight. If it wasn't for its unique ancient bloodline, it would have died long ago. I don't know how to. Zi Chen stepped forward and said. Yu Lung pointed a ray of light at Zi Chen's forehead. It was a type of seal. Our seals are the same. The only difference is the energy. This seal requires the power of the 4 spirits. Yu Lung explained. Zi Chen quickly checked the seal and nodded. The 4 of them descended from the sky and landed on the mountain. The power of the sun, moon, stars, and lightning flowed around the 4 of them. A sacred aura swept across this world. The ancient demonic spirit dragon was lying on the mountain, dying. The 4 of them began to form the seal. Sacred energy flew out from the 4 of them, converged in midair, then scattered. At the same time, sacred energy extended from the 4 of them. The sacred energy snaked forward, forming a complicated rune formation. It gathered in front of them until it enveloped the ancient demonic spirit dragon. This ancient demonic spirit dragon's origin is extraordinary. We need to use pure divine power to suppress it. We can't give it any chance to revive. Yao Ming said in a deep voice, I have something here that contains divine power. I hope it will be useful. A small jar appeared in Yao Ming's hand. This is the blood of the divine races, Holy Spirit. I hope it will be useful. The small jar shattered in midair. The divine blood emitted a dazzling light and floated in the air. The dying ancient demonic spirit dragon was enraged when it saw the divine blood. It began to struggle. As the ancient demonic spirit dragon struggled, The formation they set up showed signs of collapsing. Following that, Yu Lang and Xing Can also took out items that contained divine power, but they still couldn't suppress the ancient demonic spirit dragon. Furthermore, the divine power items that the three of them had taken out were rapidly melting away. Seeing this, the three of them could only look at Ziqin. Ziqin said, "No one told me that I need to prepare this, but I do have something related to the divine race. I got it from the battlefield of gods and demons. I don't know if it will be useful." A jade tablet appeared in Ziqin's hand. With the jade tablet in his hand, it shone with a dazzling divine light. The eyes of the three of them lit up. The divine light jade tablet flew into the air. As soon as it reached the formation, it exploded with a pop. A speck of divine light appeared. No one knew what this divine light was, but when it appeared, the divine power devoured the items Yao Ming and the others took out and became the only one. The divine light shrouded the formation with an extremely strong pressure. The trembling formation suddenly quieted down. At the same time, the struggling ancient demonic spirit dragon seemed to be greatly suppressed. Its struggle became weaker. The three of them looked at the divine light. It was bright and pure. Then they looked at Ziqin. Ziqin sighed and said, "I don't know what that is either. Looks like it's an extraordinary item. We've really suffered a loss this time. Since it has come to this, seal it." Chapter 3374. As the cage trapped the ancient demon spirit dragon, more boulders appeared around it and covered the cage. In the blink of an eye, the top of the mountain became a flat surface. The ancient demon spirit dragon was no longer visible. "Just you wait. This saint demon won't let you go." The ancient demon spirit dragon's voice came from the mountain. Yao Ming glanced at the three of them and said, "Continue." The four of them stood on the flat surface of the mountain, with the sealed ancient demon spirit dragon below them. 4 spirits demon sealing. Following Yao Ming's guidance, Ziqin continued to form the hand seals. At the same time, another spirit formation appeared below their feet and gathered in front of them. On the original flat surface, there was now a high platform. The high platform was covered with all kinds of realistic patterns. The runes were glowing, blinding, and blinding. Looking at the completed demon-sealing spirit formation, Yao Ming shouted, "Suppress!" Ziqin's hand seals changed again, then stopped at a certain point. The other three did the same. The light of energy began to tremble. The glowing runes on the platform slowly dimmed. At the same time, the bodies of Ziqin's group were also slowly petrified, turning into statues that were taller than normal people. There were a total of 4 statues, guarding the north, south, east, and west respectively. After the statues were formed, the 4 of them turned into 4 streaks of light and appeared. Ziqin, who was forming the hand seals for the first time, was looking at his own masterpiece. Yao Ming explained, "This isn't just a sealing spirit formation, it's also a sealing formation. After a few years, the ancient demon spirit dragon's power will be dispelled." His gaze swept across the mountains and the earth, looking at this messy and ruined world. He said shamefully, "Because of our arrival, this world suffered a calamity. Leaving it behind can be considered a blessing for this world." Ziqin worriedly asked, "What if someone comes to destroy it?" Yao Ming replied, "After this, the 4 of us will completely seal this world. In the eyes of outsiders, this place will no longer exist. At that time, heaven and earth will be sealed. This place will become a dead planet with no powerful creatures capable of surviving." Just as Ziqin and the others were about to seal this world, Lei Tianshi brought Shuewu with him, evading their senses and arriving in this world. Looking at the scene of destruction in this world, Lei Tianshi snorted, "Each and every one of you is vicious. Do you want to destroy and rebuild? It's not that easy." Then Lei Tianshi looked at the little fellow and said, "It's time for you to perform." Whether or not we succeed depends on whether or not you hold back. The road ahead is destined to be full of thorns and tigers and wolves. We must seize all possibilities. Shui Wu snorted discontentedly. Lei Tianchi added, "Don't worry, after this matter is settled, I'll definitely take you to eat delicious food for 3 days and 3 nights. Shui Wu said again, "That's great. We'll have a month's worth of delicacies to cross several saint domains." Shui Wu nodded in satisfaction and pointed at Lei Tianchi's glabella. At this moment, Lei Tianchi sensed something and raised his head to look at the sky. They're going to seal this place completely. Next, this sealed world will become a sealing array. If we continue to stay here, we'll be assimilated and disintegrated in time. Lei Tianchi's expression changed slightly. They're only 2 stars. How can they have such means? Even I'm shocked. Could it be that there's someone else helping them? Lei Tianchi retracted his aura and said carefully, "It must be someone from the sacred shadow sky. Little fellow, the 2 of us have to speed up. If we're discovered by the sacred shadow sky, it'll be bad." Lei Tianchi wouldn't forget how he was injured when he fought with the sacred shadow sky last time. The power of the sun, moon, star, and thunder formed a huge net in the sky and then extended until it covered the entire world. It was like an inverted bowl, leaving no blind spots. All the living beings of the Zhenwu continent who had survived the calamity looked at this scene in shock. The net flickered several times and then disappeared. The seal was complete. Zi Qin could clearly feel the changes in this world. The divine power in his body began to fade, as if it was being taken away by the world and dissipating. If he continued to stay here, he would be disintegrated as a sacred spirit. Why was the seal set up by the 4 of them so powerful? Zi Qin was puzzled. Suddenly, he thought of the special lightning jade that Yao Ming had given him when the seal had begun. At that time, the 3 of them also had different jade slips. Could it be those 4 different jade slips? "Let's go," Yao Ming said. "If we continue to stay here, we'll disappear." Yu Lung and Xing nodded. Zi Qin naturally didn't have any objections. The 4 of them left this world. When they stood in the void again, the suppressive feeling disappeared. Zi Qin looked into the distance, where there were many huge planets. Yao Ming looked back at Zi Qin and said, "Zi Qin, this matter is over. We should go back. If you have time to pass by the sacred glory tribe, you can find me." Zi Qin nodded and said goodbye to the 3. Before leaving, Xing said, "I think you should go to the sacred shadow sky for this matter. You've suffered a great loss." Zi Qin nodded and smiled. In truth, the last divine power jade slip wasn't something Zi Qin had obtained from the battlefield of gods and demons. It was given to him by Lei Tianchi before he left. Lei Tianchi already knew what Yao Ming and the others were doing. He didn't care what their goal was, and he also didn't want to know what Lei Tianchi was planning. In his perception, Shui Wu was still in the original world, but when Zi Qin turned back, he couldn't see that world anymore. Shui Wu could sense Zi Qin's presence. Zi Qin didn't plan to wait for Lei Tianchi and soared into the sky. Above the void, he slashed forward with one hand. The void was directly torn apart by him. He entered the torn void. It was like ascending. In the next moment, Zi Qin arrived at the Saint Spirit realm. The heaven and earth here was much more stable. Zi Qin, who didn't know where he was, moved in another direction. Now that he had returned the favor, he was going to the sacred lightning territory. But before that, he had to wait for Lei Tianchi to come back and see if he wanted to go or hear his opinion. Zi Qin saw a planet and was about to pass through it. Suddenly, a ripple appeared in front of him and spread out, forming a passage. Lei Tianchi came back so quickly. Zi Qin was stunned. Just at this moment, a cold chill suddenly crept into his heart. A long sword, like a beam of rainbow light, went straight for Zi Qin's glabella. As the killing intent approached, the surrounding temperature suddenly dropped. Zi-Chin felt like he had lost control of his body. Buzz! Lightning flashed, dispelling the killing intent that enveloped him. Zi-Chen disappeared. At the critical moment, he used Lightning Flash. Chapter 3375. A stranger was standing in front of him with a black cloth covering his face. He was holding a long sword in his hand. The sword radiated cold light and released a chilling aura. Zi-Chin stared at him and asked in a low voice, "Who are you?" Suddenly his body shook. He felt his aura drop and became weak. Other than the fact that he had not recovered from his injuries from the previous battle, the other reason was that he had been poisoned. Would Zi-Chin, who had become a sacred spirit, be afraid of poison? He glanced at his wound. The sacred blood had been dyed black. Swish! The opponent thrust his sword again. He was a sacred spirit and was in the same realm as Zi-Chin. There was poison on his weapon. As the sword fell, the weak Zi-Chin felt a strong pressure coming from the space around him. He shouted loudly, and lightning filled his body as he punched forward. The demonic bone glowed, and a strong aura surged. With a boom, Zi-Chin quickly retreated. The sacred spirits, sword light, dimmed, and flew backward. Zi-Chin activated the lightning physique to prevent the poison from entering his body. Swish! His figure disappeared. He had used Thunder Flash. Zi-Chin didn't know the opponent and didn't know why he was chasing after him. However, the most important thing now was to kill him quickly. He had to find a place to heal. Appearing beside the opponent, Zi-Chin punched. The opponent left an afterimage and disappeared. In the next moment, the opponent appeared behind Zi-Chin. His speed was not slower than Thunder Flash. He slashed with his sword, full of killing intent. Swish! Zi-Chin disappeared again. Swish! 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 Then the two started to compete in speed. They were evenly matched. On one hand, the opponent's speed was not weak. On the other hand, Zi-Chin had not recovered from his injuries. He activated the lightning physique continuously. The poison was suppressed, but not completely removed. If this continued, the battle situation would naturally be extremely disadvantageous to Zi-Chin. Swish! Lightning appeared and revolved around Zi-Chin. It was the lightning blade manipulation. The opponent immediately retreated. Only his eyes were exposed. There was a trace of fear in them. The demonic blade appeared in Zi-Chin's hand. He unsheathed it. Buzz! The blade light vibrated. An invisible pressure locked onto the opponent. The opponent's expression changed drastically. His body lit up and he blocked with his sword. With a loud bang, that person was immediately sent flying. Zi-Chin sheathed his saber and began to form a seal with both hands. Rays of light flowed from his fingertips. Lightning controlling technique. A beam of light appeared in the void and illuminated the void. A thunderbolt descended from the sky. Boom! Deafening thunder rumbled and fell on the body of the man in black who was flying backward. A strong wave of energy spread out from the void. The body of the black-robed man shuddered and fell into the depths of the void, successfully killing an enemy of the same level. But before Zi-Chin could breathe a sigh of relief, danger approached again. He dodged without hesitation, but another sharp blade appeared behind him, and a bloody wound appeared on his back. There was now a second sacred spirit on the scene. Zi-Chin's expression turned ugly because he realized that he couldn't return to his own world. There was an indescribable power isolating him from everything. He wasn't sure if this power was a result of the rules or if someone had deliberately set it up. "Who are you?" Zi-Chin said in a deep voice. He knew that he didn't have any enemies in this world. Meng was one. But Meng sure must have been frightened by Lei Tianshi last time. It was impossible for him to send people to target him. Moreover, Meng was too far away from here. Even if they sent people, they wouldn't be able to find him here. Who else could it be? A few people flashed across Zi-Chin's mind. Among them was the old man who brought him here, Yao Ming and the other two. Only a few people knew about his whereabouts. But who were they? Why did they want to kill him? Zi Chen's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that after sealing that place, they wanted to kill him to silence him? Was it someone from Shengying Sky? Or was it one of the three? Or perhaps the three of them were also ambushed? Just as Zi Chen had his suspicions, the other party had already attacked. The injured Zi Chen didn't dare to continue fighting. He immediately used a powerful method to kill his opponent and quickly escaped. Along the way, he swallowed a large number of pills. Not long after Zi Chen disappeared, a light figure appeared. A divine aura spread in all directions. He captured the scene that had just happened. He even clearly reconstructed the battle that had happened. 2 beams of divine light flew out from his body and went straight into the void below. A moment later, the corpses of the 2 divine spirits were pulled up. At the divine spirit realm, one's physical body was already without impurities. After the crystallization, it would become a divine spirit crystal, which was greatly beneficial to one's cultivation. The third person, who was dressed in ordinary clothes, stared ahead with a cold smile. You even abandoned such a thing. It seems your injuries aren't light. Very well, I'll catch up and kill you. A seal appeared in his hand, condensing a light spot. The light spot floated in the void and flew forward in the next moment. It was the direction Zi Chen had fled in. Zi Chen fled all the way, extremely depressed. He had lost contact with his own world. Under such circumstances, after losing his physical body, he didn't know if his soul would be destroyed along with it. As he moved forward, Zi Chen felt that something was wrong. How could there be such a coincidence? As he fled, he checked his body. He used his spiritual senses to check every part of his body, including his clothes and his own body. It hadn't been long since he returned to the divine spirit realm. Moreover, the divine spirit realm was so big and he was flying in the void. If it wasn't for the precise location, who could find him so quickly? Zi Chan would never believe that this was an unexpected disaster. Therefore, he guessed that there must be something wrong with his body. As he carefully checked with his spiritual senses, Zi Chen didn't find anything unusual. But how did the other party find him? Suddenly, Zi Chen's expression changed. A token appeared in his hand. This was given to him by the old man, who said it was for communication. Could it be this thing? A ball of Holy Spirit light appeared in Zi Chen's hand. This light wrapped around the communication token, and then Zi Chen threw it forward with all his strength. In that direction there was a planet. After throwing out the communication token, Zi Chen fled in the opposite direction. Arriving on a dilapidated planet, Zi Chen began to treat his wounds and detoxify, recovering from his injuries. The Holy Spirit, who was pursuing the light, came to a planet. This was an ordinary planet, and its owner was only at the Spirit Ascension realm. This was an open planet. The arrival of the Holy Spirit didn't attract any attention. The Holy Spirit kept following the light until he saw the communication token stuck between 2 stones. His expression changed. Obviously, the other party had discovered the problem. He released his spiritual senses and enveloped the planet. In that instant, all living beings on the planet began to tremble in fear. I didn't know that you were coming. Please forgive me for not coming out to meet you. The owner of the planet cupped his fists at the void, terrified. The Holy Spirit didn't respond. He began to search everyone's memories. After a while, he didn't get any useful clues. He retracted his pressure and disappeared. Chapter 3376. The power of thunder coiled around his body. Countless arcs of electricity circled around him, giving off crackling sounds. Black blood continuously flowed out of Zi Chen's wounds. Slowly, the color of the blood changed, emitting a holy light. Zi Chen was already a saint spirit, and the blood in his body was the blood of a saint spirit. For some low-level cultivators, It was comparable to many precious medicines. After the poison in his body was completely removed, Zichen's injuries began to improve. His wounds no longer bled, and his originally weak aura also became stronger. The pursuers still hadn't arrived, and Zichen knew that his guess was correct. That old guy had tampered with the transmission token. Why did the people of the Holy Shadow Sky want to kill him? Keep it a secret? Zichen didn't think that the old man wanted to kill him, because there was no enmity between them. Was it because the old man took the talisman for himself? That was even more impossible, because Zichen had said that he didn't want anything in return. Moreover, the old man was in the spirit ascension realm, so it was impossible for him to mobilize a saint spirit to kill him, and there was more than one. Zichen's injuries were recovering, and his aura was also growing stronger. Although the effects of spirit ascension realm pills weren't very good, there were many of them, and his injuries were recovering quite well. Not long after, Zichen's aura became strong again. The lightning around his body gradually disappeared, and Zichen opened his eyes, which shone with a cold light. At this moment he was at his peak, and his battle prowess had recovered to its peak. If they were to encounter the same enemy again, it would be impossible for them to harm Zichen in the slightest. A wind blew past, and dust filled the sky. In the saint spirit realm, this kind of ruined planet that had lost its spiritual power could be seen everywhere. Zichen's figure soared into the air and suddenly stopped in midair. Amidst the flying dust, a person appeared. It was a saint spirit. The saint spirit descended from the sky, looked at Zichen, and said indifferently, "You really escaped here." Zichen said in a low voice, "You really are from the Holy Shadow Sky." The corners of the sacred spirit's mouth curled up in a smile. "Even the sacred Shadow Sky knows about it. It seems you aren't an ignorant brat." He did not wear a mask and spoke a lot. He was obviously different from the other two. Of course, this was Yuanyu's confidence in his own battle strength. "Why does the Holy Shadow Sky want to kill me?" Zichen asked. "When you die, I'll burn a piece of paper to tell you." The saint spirit approached. The aura on his body flowed, and a strong pressure came toward Yi Futian. Feeling this enormous pressure, Zichen cried out involuntarily, "3-star Holy Spirit! Your knowledge is not bad. I know that your battle prowess is not weak. You can fight against a 2-star. A 3-star is enough to destroy you." The 3 stars Holy Spirit said, "I thought those 2 could stall you for a while, but I didn't expect that they would die in your hands one after the other when they wanted to claim the credit." Shua. Zichen's figure suddenly disappeared. In the next moment he arrived beside the 3-star Holy Spirit and punched out. "Lei Shan of the Thunder Clan, as expected, your reputation is well deserved. It's just a pity that your cultivation level is too low." The 3-star Holy Spirit turned around and punched out. Heaven and earth shook. The power of the 3-star Holy Spirit caused the entire planet to tremble. The demonic bone appeared on Zichen's fist. The power of this punch became stronger once again. Boom! With a loud boom, a powerful shockwave spread in all directions. The shockwave was like the edge of a blade. Everywhere it passed, the barren mountains were flattened. Zichen's figure retreated. When he was dozens of feet away, he disappeared again. The 3-star Holy Spirit was also pushed back by Zichen's punch. When he felt the power of the punch, he could not help but reveal a look of surprise. How could a mere 1-star Holy Spirit have such power? In the next moment, lightning flashed. Another powerful punch went straight for the 3-star Holy Spirit's back. "Get lost!" the 3-star Holy Spirit shouted. He turned around and punched out. A terrifying power surged on his fist. When the 2 fists met, the shockwave caused the 2 to retreat again. The 1-star Zichen displayed power that was not weaker than a 3-star Holy Spirit. Boom! Boom! The punches continued, and the rumbling sounds continued. This planet, which was already depleted of spiritual power, suffered a devastating impact. The entire world was collapsing with a rumbling sound. The two fought from the ground to the air, and from the air to the ground. The earth cracked and magma spewed out. It was a scene of destruction. Zi-Chen kept punching. Every punch was full of power. The 7 demonic bones provided him with powerful combat power. The 7 demonic bones played an important role in fighting a 2-star Holy Spirit. Whoosh! The Thunderblade appeared. It was like a bolt of lightning. It drew an arc and went straight for the 3-star Holy Spirit's temple. Clang! A rainbow light flew out in front of the 3-star Holy Spirit. It was obvious that the other party also had a weapon, and its quality was not low. When the two were attacking, the 2 weapons were also attacking each other. They were evenly matched. Zi-Chen, who was in the middle of the battle, was gradually weakening. Die! When they collided again, the 3-star Holy Spirit seized the opportunity when Zi-Chen was flying backward and could not stabilize his body. In an instant, the 3-star Holy Spirit appeared in front of him and slashed down with his blade. Zi-Chen's eyes were cold. Facing this attack, he was very calm. The 3-star Holy Spirit noticed Zi-Chen's gaze. His heart skipped a beat, and he felt uneasy. Whoosh! A bright light suddenly appeared in front of the 3-star Holy Spirit's eyes. Blood splattered. The 3-star Holy Spirit's arm was cut off and fell to the ground. The 3-star Holy Spirit retreated 100 feet away. There was a bloody wound in front of him. If he had not reacted in time, he would have been cut in 2. The demonic blade returned to its scabbard. Zi-Chen took a step forward. The power of thunder exploded, and he pulled out the blade again. A bright light lit up between heaven and earth. The 7 demonic blade, together with the 7 demonic bones, left a mark in the air and rushed forward. The 3-star Holy Spirit was shocked. He dodged to the side. A straight saber light flew towards the horizon. Outside this huge planet, a beam of light appeared. The beam of light broke through the planet and drew an arc before dispersing. The entire planet was penetrated by the blade. The world that was about to collapse completely collapsed. The fragments of the world fell toward the void. Zi-Chen and the 3-star Holy Spirit were in the Saint Spirit realm. Zi-Chen slashed again. With each slash, his energy was rapidly depleted. However, the power of each slash was enough to threaten the 3-star Holy Spirit. The other party was shocked. He did not expect this 1-star Holy Spirit to be so powerful. As he slashed, Zi-Chen put some distance between him and the 3-star Holy Spirit. The next moment, he put away his blade and formed a seal. Lightning manipulation technique. This was his ultimate technique. It was extremely powerful. Even the ancient demonic dragon would be severely injured if it went against him. The void suddenly lit up, and a bolt of lightning fell from the sky. Boom! The 3-star Holy Spirit was hit by the lightning, and his body began to glow. Zi-Chen moved his mind again. The lightning manipulation saber flew forward and pierced through the other party's forehead. Zi-Chen's body swayed and he almost fell. He was very weak now. Chapter 3377. Now that the 3-star Holy Spirit was dead, a ray of light flew out from Zi-Chen's body and wrapped around his body, preventing him from falling into the depths of the void. He clearly knew the value of the other party. A ray of Holy Spirit energy landed on the other party. Light began to flow around the 3-star Holy Spirit, and in the next moment, his body slowly crystallized. Part of it dissolved and disappeared, while the other part turned into Holy Spirit crystals. In the end, a dazzling Holy Spirit crystal that was bigger than 2 human heads appeared in front of Zi-Chen. So big! Seeing this scene, Zi-Chen was very surprised. He was not someone who had not seen the world. When he killed Meng Shi in Lei Tianshi, he obtained a 4-star Holy Spirit's crystal. Even after crystallizing, it was not this big. Now, what was going on? Then, Zichun noticed that there was a ray of light beside the crystal. He flew forward and saw a bracelet in the light, shining brightly. Curiously, he took the bracelet and injected a ray of energy into it. Zichun's eyes suddenly widened. It was a space bracelet that contained all the savings of the 3-star Holy Spirit. The space bracelet could be opened directly with spiritual thoughts, and the spirit inside could not be seen. What did this mean? Dead? He's really dead? Zichun was stunned. What about his world? Only when one was truly dead could one easily open the bracelet. This was common knowledge. If not, with Zichun's 1-star strength, it would be difficult for him to forcefully open the bracelet of the 3-star Holy Spirit. Looking at the obviously huge Holy Spirit crystal again, Zichun finally understood the reason. This was definitely an unexpected surprise. After taking the crystal and the bracelet, Zichun quickly left. Although he did not suffer heavy injuries in the previous battle, he had consumed a lot of energy and urgently needed to recover. Close to the holy shadow sky, there was a holy domain called Hugo. In the core of this holy domain, an old man stood in a plain building. The old man wore a silver robe with 5 flying dragons embroidered on it. The dragons were lifelike, and as the robe swayed, they seemed to break through the sky. The old man stood at the window and looked ahead. His eyes were deep, and occasionally cold lightning would flash through them. He seemed to be looking into the distance. Shwa! Suddenly, another person appeared behind the old man. That person was also an old man wearing a black robe. Although there was no aura emanating from his body, he was naturally extraordinary to be able to silently break through this great formation and arrive here. The silver-robed old man didn't turn around, as if he didn't notice that someone was behind him. The black-robed old man said, "I'm very curious. To think that the master of the sacred Thunder region would actually come to our Hugo sacred region." Master of the sacred Thunder region. Just these 5 words were enough to intimidate the entire Saint Spirit world. The silver-robed old man snorted and said, "Is there anything in the Saint Spirit domain that the holy shadow sky is curious about?" The black-robed old man said, "The Lord of the Holy Thunder region has come in person. Something big must have happened. Let me guess." The black-robed old man lightly tapped his forehead. Could it be that a fallen Saint Venerable has come back from the dead? The silver-robed old man, who was known as the master of the sacred Thunder region, turned around and said indifferently, "You really know about this? According to your characters, you should have already taken action, right?" The black-robed old man said, "It has been too long, and there is too little information from back then, so it was only a guess and could not be confirmed. Now that I see you here, my guess has been confirmed." This old man congratulates the sacred Thunder region for welcoming back a future Saint Venerable. The silver-robed old man said, "In that case, those people were not arranged by you." The black-robed old man smiled faintly. "Of course it wasn't me. If it was me, I would have done it myself." The silver-robed old man was the master of the sacred Thunder region, so his background was naturally great. However, the black-robed old man in front of him could use such an attitude to talk to him. Naturally, he also had a status. He came from the sacred shadow sky, and his status was comparable to the silver-robed old man's in the sacred Thunder region. People of their status did not need to do anything at all. They only needed to think about it, and countless subordinates would turn that idea into reality. For example, the person he investigated was the same as a fallen Saint Venerable in the sacred Thunder region. That was enough. Whether it was a coincidence or not, the other party would be obliterated. And the appearance of the sacred Thunder region's master made this guess true. However, the black-robed old man also knew that since the other party had appeared, his people could no longer succeed. Chen did not encounter any more pursuers. He smoothly walked into a sacred realm and quickly recovered his energy. After he recovered, he opened the storage bracelet of the dead 3-star Saint Spirit and began to check his unexpected gains. Chen saw some crystals emitting Saint Force, but they were very small and the Saint Force was not pure. There were also 2 large Saint Crystals, which should have been formed by the dead Saint Spirit. The weapon that could fight against the stone saber was also among them. It released a powerful aura and was not an ordinary item. At this moment, Chen saw the other party's communication token and picked it up. "Sir, we have arrived at the Yabu Sacred Realm. Is there any news?" Seeing the content of the message, Chen's eyes flashed coldly. Yabu Sacred Realm. To call a 3-star Saint Spirit, sir. The other party's strength obviously did not exceed 3-star. Chen stood up and took out a map and began to search for the Yabu Sacred Realm. The Yabu Sacred Realm was very large and contained many planets, but the largest was the core of the Yabu Sacred Realm. Chen went there directly. After entering the Yabu Sacred Realm, Chen released his spiritual thoughts and searched for the traces of those people. However, the core area of the Sacred Realm was too large. It was undoubtedly difficult for Chen to find them smoothly. At this moment, there was an unattractive man in the Yabu Sacred Realm. Chen immediately sensed the other party's presence and could not help but show a touch of joy on his face. He, who was originally wandering aimlessly, went straight to a standalone building. When he came close, he directly slapped out. Boom! With a loud bang, the building was torn apart. 4 figures flew out, surging with Saint Spirit aura. 2 1-star and 2 2-star. Looking at the 4 people, Chen's eyes were full of cold, murderous intent. Whoosh! His body flashed, and he used Thunder Flash to appear in front of the 1-star Saint Spirit. Before the other party could react, he punched out. With a loud rumble, this 1-star Holy Spirit fell to the ground, dead on the spot. There was an uproar, and everyone frantically retreated. Their eyes were full of fear as they looked into the distance. Was a Saint Spirit killed? The Saint Spirit aura continued to wreak havoc. The people in the air were all Saint Spirits, but one of them just died. Everyone looked in front of them in disbelief. A powerful attack appeared, and the Saint Spirit power turned into weapons, wreaking havoc. The prosperous city was immediately turned into ruins. The battle between Saint Spirits was earth-shattering. Lei Tianshi looked at the battle in the distance, and a smile appeared on his face. In addition to happiness and relief, there were other complex emotions in this smile. He retreated and left the sacred realm. Chapter 378. The Yabu Sacred Realm was in an uproar. Everyone was rushing to the periphery. In the center, there were sacred spirits fighting. A 1-star sacred spirit was fighting 4 sacred spirits alone. One of them had already died. The impact of the battle was huge. Although the surrounding buildings were protected by arrays, they could not withstand the radiance of the sacred spirit. While Chen was going all out to kill the 3 holy spirits, Lei Tianshi met someone outside. It was a middle-aged man who was full of vitality like Lei Tianshi. He was staring at Lei Tianshi. Lei Tianshi's expression became unnatural. Am I seeing things? Isn't this Lei Tian? You're not dead? The middle-aged man said with a smile. His eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. I almost died, but I'm alive now. Lei Tianshi said, I'm not Lei Tian anymore. I'm Lei Tianshi. I'm Lei Tianshi at the right time. The middle-aged man said, I think you deserve to die. Lei Tianshi said, I think you should change your name to Lei Di, not Lady. D and D are homonyms. Do you really think you can become Lady? You see, once you change your name, we'll be standing together. Isn't that auspicious? Lady's eyes became colder. Why? Lei Tianxia asked in confusion. Why what? Why did you betray the sacred spirit? Lady's voice became colder. Lei Tianxia shook his head and said, I've forgotten everything you said. There's something missing in my memory. Lady said coldly, You may have forgotten, but I haven't. If it weren't for your betrayal, how could the sacred spirit be killed? Lei Tianxia said, Lady, you've misunderstood me, haven't you? Didn't I bring him back? Is he still the sacred spirit? I think so. Lei Tianxia nodded. Lady took a deep breath and said, I wanted to let you live, but since you're so unrepentant, don't blame me for being rude. Lei Tianxia snorted. This is your original intention, isn't it? However, do you think I'm afraid of you? You couldn't beat me in the past. Now that you've changed your name to Lei Yi, you're still not my opponent. I am the heavens, and you are the earth. You are destined to be suppressed by me. Really? Lei Di's eyes flashed with killing intent as a tyrannical aura was released from his body. Sensing this aura, Lei Tianxia's expression changed greatly. The aura of a sacred venerate. You actually crossed that step and became a sacred venerate. Die. 2 bolts of lightning shot out from Lady's eyes and landed on the horrified Lei Tianxia. Lei Tianxia's body glowed as he let out a shrill cry. The next moment, the 2 lightning bolts flew out from his body and disappeared into the void. 2 independent spaces appeared in the sky. In one of the spaces there was a large hall. The hall emitted the light of thunder, and it was extremely bright. If Zichen was here, he would definitely recognize that this was Lei Tianxia's Lightning Divine Hall. As long as the Lightning Divine Hall was not destroyed, Lei Tianxia would not die. As a bolt of lightning entered the Lightning Divine Hall, the everlasting Great Hall actually exploded with a loud bang. The Lightning Divine Hall turned into countless fragments and completely disappeared into the void. At the same time, in the other space, there was a complete and huge world. That was the world that Lei Tianxia had fused with. After the Lightning Divine Hall exploded, another bolt of lightning entered that world, causing it to explode with a loud bang. Lady, you really want to kill me? The instant he sensed the world and the Lightning Divine Hall exploding, Lei Tianxia shouted. A cold smile appeared at the corner of Lady's mouth. Traitor, you deserve to die. Boom! Lei Tianxia's body directly exploded and dissipated between heaven and earth. Zichen, who was still fighting in the sacred region, suddenly felt a pain in his heart, as if he had lost something important. He turned his head to look at the sky and released a huge amount of spiritual sense. However, he did not sense anything out of the ordinary. Did Lei Tianxia leave? Zichen thought to himself. Boom! As an attack approached, the absent-minded Zichen was hit and sent flying. As he was sent flying, he felt even more pain in his heart. This made him unable to understand what had happened. However, right now, the battle was the most important. A light flashed in Zichen's hand, and the demonic blade appeared. He took a deep breath and unsheathed the blade. Buzz! The dazzling saber light drew an arc as it flew forward. A 2-star sacred spirit's expression changed drastically. He immediately formed a seal with both hands, and a defensive light appeared in front of him. As the blade approached, the 2-star sacred spirit's defense immediately shattered. The blade swept past his body and flew into the distance, destroying a building. The light on the 2-star sacred spirit immediately disappeared, and his body was split into 2. When the other 2 saw this, their expressions changed drastically. They turned and ran. The pain in Zichen's heart became more and more intense. He said coldly, Do you think you can escape? He unsheathed his blade again. The blade swept forward and caught up with the 2-star sacred spirit. The blade swept past his body and then disappeared. The 2-star sacred spirit's body fell to the ground. As for the 1-star sacred spirit, he had reached the border of the world and was about to escape. Buzz! The void trembled. A bolt of lightning flew out and caught up with him at an extremely fast speed. With a poof, the stone blade penetrated his sea of consciousness. The powerful force of lightning began to destroy his life force. The last one-star sacred spirit's body fell to the ground. Lady entered the sacred realm and happened to see the scene. This was the thunder blade manipulation from the Thunder Tribe's sacred thunder tree. The sacred thunder tree had this technique because of the thunder manipulation technique. It was one of the few powerful techniques of the Thunder Tribe. Only one person had mastered it, and his technique was close to Tao. Unfortunately, that person was already dead. Just as Lady sensed something, a Holy Spirit's aura descended, bringing with it anger. How dare you behave so atrociously in my sacred realm? You are courting death. The aura of a 3-star sacred spirit descended from the sky. It was the owner of this sacred realm, Yabu, who had rushed back in time. He glanced at Zichen, and endless murderous intent surged from his body. Die. He mobilized the power of the world, and a powerful force surged. A sacred spirit's palm print descended from the sky and hit Zichen. With a bang, Zichen's body flew backward, and he coughed up blood in midair. He had killed a 3-star sacred spirit before, but this Yabu in front of him had the home field advantage. Moreover, his attack was filled with rage. It would be difficult for Zichen to resist. He took a step forward and attacked again. Yabu's palm fell. He mobilized the power of the world and easily destroyed the saber-light. The demonic blade was Zichen's strongest attack at the moment. It was obviously unable to suppress his opponent. Die. Yabu's attack was overwhelming and extremely terrifying. Zichen put away his saber and took a deep breath. The next moment he began to form a seal. Lady's expression changed when he saw this scene. This was an ancient seal, and it represented the Thunder Tribe's strongest technique. Since ancient times, only one person had mastered it. That person used to be the Thunder Tribe's sacred venerate, Zichen. He was the sacred venerate Zichen, the pride of the sacred spirit field. In private, some people called him Emperor Zichen, believing that he had a chance to reach the legendary realm. A ray of light appeared between heaven and earth. Then there was a boom, and a bolt of lightning descended from the sky. In Lady's eyes, the thunder manipulation technique had reappeared. Chapter 3379. The driving lightning art descended upon the 3-star Holy Spirit Yabu. Everywhere it passed, Yabu's attacks were destroyed. The lightning fell. In everyone's eyes, there was only this lightning in the world. As expected, the lightning struck Yabu. Zichen's aura suddenly weakened, and his life force was quickly draining away. The driving lightning art was indeed terrifying, but it was also very dangerous. Every time he killed an enemy, he would first absorb his own life force. Every time he used it, Zichen was able to kill his enemies. Only when he faced the ancient demon spirit dragon did he manage to survive. When the lightning disappeared, Zichen was already extremely weak. Fortunately, he managed to survive. Fighting someone 2 levels above him was too dangerous. Fortunately, his opponent was dead. Next, Zichen began to collect his spoils. That heartache was still there. He didn't know what went wrong. Was it the world he couldn't perceive, or something else? Lei Tianshi had already left. He was probably waiting for him outside. Lady's emotions returned to normal, and he flew down. After collecting the last Holy Spirit's corpse, Zichen suddenly looked up and saw someone standing in front of him. He subconsciously retreated, fear in his eyes. The opponent's aura was suppressed and not a single bit leaked out, but it still gave him a terrifying feeling. It was as if the person standing in front of him was a peerless monster. "Who are you?" Zichen asked cautiously. "I'm Lady." Lady said. Zichen's expression changed. "You're from the Thunder Clan?" The opponent nodded. Qin still didn't let down his guard. Why would a powerful Thunder Clan expert suddenly appear here? Even as a one-star Holy Spirit, he felt danger. Just how strong was this guy? A 4-star Holy Spirit was definitely stronger than that. Perhaps he was on the same level as Lei Tianshi. Qin's heart skipped a beat. Could Lei Tianshi's departure have something to do with this guy's appearance? Seeing Qin's changing expression, Lei Di said, "Don't worry, I have no ill intentions. I'm taking you back to the Thunder Clan." "Why do you want to take me back? How do you know me?" Qin asked again. "Because you are the first person to comprehend the lightning controlling technique in so many years." An old voice rang out, and an old man appeared out of thin air. The old man wore a silver robe with a few dragons embroidered on it, as if they were living creatures that were sealed on it. They were baring their fangs and brandishing their claws as they meandered in circles. A kind smile appeared on the old man's face as he said, "Gently, don't be nervous. We have been looking for you ever since we found out that you were in the Meng territory. We never thought that you would be here. Did you come here specifically for me?" Qin looked at the kind old man and asked. The old man nodded and said with a smile, "After learning of your existence, we immediately sent people to look for you because we were worried that someone would harm you. It seems that we are not too late." "Why does someone want to kill me?" Qin asked again. "Because the lightning controlling technique is one of the few powerful battle skills of the Thunder Clan. The other powers are wary of it and will naturally harbor ill intentions." "All right, if you have any questions, I'll tell you slowly on the way." The old man smiled and said, "Come with me now." Qin nodded, then turned around to look at the ground below. Time and space seemed to have been frozen, and everyone was in a petrified state. Qin's expression changed. What kind of technique was this? The old man seemed to have guessed Qin's thoughts and said with a smile, "It's just a small trick. You will know it when you reach that level." Qin nodded and followed the old man out of the Yabu sanctuary. Just as the three of them were about to leave, the frozen world returned to normal once again. Everyone was shocked because a 1-star sacred spirit had actually killed a 3-star sacred spirit. "Where is he? Has he left? When did he leave? Why didn't I see him? What realm are you at? How did you notice that Lord Sacred Spirit had left?" When the shocked crowd realized that Qin had disappeared, they started to discuss among themselves. They did not see Lei Di or the old man who came later. After leaving the world, Qin said, "Are we going to the Sacred Thunder territory now?" The old man smiled and said, "Not going but returning. From now on, that will be your home." Qin said, "I still have a friend who was here just now." Qin released his spiritual sense but did not find Lei Tianshi. Lei Di's expression changed slightly, but Qin did not notice it. The old man said, "You can bring your friend to the Sacred Thunder territory. It is big enough to accommodate everyone." Qin shook his head and said he seems to have left. At that moment, Qin's heart ached terribly, and he faintly understood why he felt that way. Lei Tianshi wasn't capable of sealing off space-time. On the way back, Qin sensed that he could communicate with his own world, which made his heart churn. Obviously, the reason why he could not communicate with his world was not because it was too far away, but because someone used a great ability to seal his perception with the world. Was it purely because of him? What about Lei Tianshi? Since he had such a great ability, would he be unfavorable to Lei Tianshi? "Senior, what kind of place is the Sacred Thunder territory?" Qin suppressed the doubts in his heart and asked directly. The old man smiled kindly and said, "It is our home, a huge place with many resources." Qin said, "A friend of mine said that there are thunder trees in the Sacred Thunder territory, and we can comprehend techniques there." The old man nodded. "Yes, there are thunder trees in the Sacred Thunder territory. After we go back, I will arrange everything for you. Zi-Chin said gratefully, "Thank you, Senior." The old man shook his head. "You don't have to be so polite with me. My name is Lejinka. You can call me by my name." This old man could stop time and space with just a wave of his hand. Even if Zi-Chen had more guts, he would not dare to call him by his name. At this moment, if others heard the old man's words, they would be shocked. He was the person with the highest status in the sacred Thunder territory. Who dared not call him ancestor? Who dared to talk to him as an equal? As for calling him by his name, in the entire sacred spirit territory, there were no more than 5 people who would do so. Zi-Chen scratched his head and said, "That's not good. I will call you Senior." During this time, Lei Di and Lejinka were looking at Zi-Chen, but they did not see the difference in Zi-Chen's expression. He smiled and said, "As you wish." On the way back, Zi-Chen said, after returning to the sacred Thunder territory, "Do I need to do anything?" Lei Di looked at Zi-Chen in confusion. "Why do you say that?" Zi-Chen said, "You promised to let me comprehend the thunder trees. Don't I need to do something in return?" Lei Di turned his head, feeling very uncomfortable. Lejinka sighed. "Child, you have suffered all these years." After leaving the sacred Shadow Skies territory, Lejinka glanced in a certain direction. There stood the black-robed old man from the sacred Shadow Sky. Swish! The next moment, Lejinka waved his sleeve and the 3 disappeared. Chapter 30, 380. Zi-Chen didn't know how far the sacred Shadow Sky was from the sacred Thunder region. In short, after Lejinka waved his sleeve, a world of thunder appeared in front of Zi-Chen. The surroundings were filled with the power of thunder. For others, coming here might be a pressure and threat, but for those who cultivated thunder methods, this was an opportunity. Every time Zi-Chen took a breath, the power of thunder would enter his body and then temper it. Here, breathing smoothly was cultivation, which showed the foundation of this place. "This is home, son. Welcome home." Lejinka sighed and then disappeared. "Everything from now on will be arranged by Lei Di." Zi-Chen nodded and thanked him. Lei Di looked at Zi-Chen with a complicated expression. Zi-Chen smiled at Lei Di. Lei Di took a deep breath and said, "Let's go. When we get there, I'll ask someone to give you a token of the Thunder Clan." "Thank you," Zi-Chen said. Lei Di turned around and looked at Zi-Chen. "You don't have to thank me in front of me in the future." Zi-Chen looked at Lei Di in confusion. Lei Di didn't know how to explain. Zi-Chen said, "I have a friend called Lei Tiancher. He may be from the Thunder Clan. Do you know him?" Lei Di shook his head and said no. Zi-Chen said regretfully, "That's too bad. His battle prowess is very strong and he treats me very well. Originally, we discussed coming to the sacred Thunder region together, but for some reason he left alone." Lei Di said in a deep voice, "The road of cultivation is cruel. You can't judge a book by its cover, so you can't treat people too well. Besides, how do you know if others are sincere to you?" Zi-Chen asked in confusion, "What do you mean?" Lei Di patted his chest and said, "Use this place to sense carefully. Don't make a conclusion immediately. After the baptism of time, who is good and who is bad will be judged." Zi-Chen nodded blankly, still in a daze. "Let's go." Looking at Zi-Chen, Lei Di felt a little distressed, but he didn't explain. As countless bolts of lightning surged, they entered the Sea of Lightning. Lei Di looked at the Sea of Lightning and proudly said, "The lightning here comes from all over the Saint Spirit realm and finally converges here. It is not only the cultivation ground of the Thunder Clan, but also a natural protective barrier. Once an enemy invades, they will first be struck by lightning." Zi-Chen asked, "Are the invaders from the celestial and demon races?" Lei Di smiled and said, "Yes, they are our mortal enemies, but it has never been the god race or the demon race that has restricted the development of the spirit race. Zichen finally understood. The spirit race were also humans. They were naturally aggressive, and they fought amongst themselves. Passing through this sea of lightning, Zichen saw one giant planet after another. The surface of these planets was filled with lightning. There were so many that he couldn't see the end of them. Zichen was shocked. Lei Di explained, these are the outer regions of the sacred Thunder territory. These planets are owned by the talented Thunder clan members. Talented? Zichen keenly grasped these 3 words. Lei Di nodded and said, that's right. The Thunder clan members without talent are in other regions, not in this sacred Thunder territory. Unless they can reach the sacred spirit realm, they will never be able to set foot here. Lei Di grabbed Zichen and disappeared in the next moment. When they reappeared, the 2 appeared in the sea of lightning again. The lightning here was more violent and powerful. This is the sea of lightning that leads to the inner region. The quality is higher. The 2 of them quickly passed through this high-quality sea of lightning. What entered their eyes was another planet. These lightning planets were more dazzling and extremely dazzling. Lei Di pointed to several planets in front of them and said, this is the inner region. There is no distinction of talent here. There is only one condition. One must be a sacred spirit of the Thunder clan. Zichen's eyes were full of shock. So, there were thousands of sacred spirits in the Thunder clan alone. Zichen was shocked and speechless. Lei Di revealed a smile and said, the sacred spirits are the mainstay of the Saint Spirit world, and this place is the foundation of the Thunder clan. Seeing all this, Zichen finally understood why the sacred Thunder territory was famous in the Saint Spirit world. This was the foundation. Let's go. Your place is in the depths. Lei Di pulled Zichen and disappeared again, and then entered the 3rd sea of lightning. The quality of the sea of lightning here was higher, and there were fluctuations of life in the surging lightning. The life forms that can be born in the sea of lightning are called Thunder spirits. Lei Di said, after passing through here, you will reach the core area. And to be able to reach this place, you must have extraordinary talent. After arriving here, the number of planets was obviously less, only a few hundred. Lei Di said, if you have a cultivation world, you can put it here. As long as the sacred Thunder territory is not destroyed, your world is absolutely safe. Zichen said, my world is a bit different. There are many humans living in it. I'm afraid it's not convenient to come here. Many? Lei Di looked at Zichen. Zichen nodded and said, the number of people is comparable to the core planet of a bustling sacred realm. In the bustling sacred realm, there were many people gathered. The number was very large. If there were so many people in Zichen's world, it would be shocking. Lei Di said, this will be very disadvantageous to your cultivation. If you put your world here, it can absorb the power of lightning here by itself. There will be many benefits. Zichen shook his head and said no need. The reason why I brought this world with me was because I wanted to have a place to worry about. I didn't expect to use it for cultivation. Moreover, there are many friends that I can't give up. Looking at Zichen's serious expression, Lei Di nodded and said, the sacred Thunder territory also has some sacred realms that are open to the public. Your world can be placed there. I will choose a good place for you. Zichen didn't refuse because he wasn't familiar with this place. He also didn't thank him. He just nodded because Lei Di had solemnly said that there was no need to thank him. Next, Lei Di took Zichen and went straight to the core planet of the sacred realm. This was a world with obvious characteristics of the Thunder clan. As far as the eye could see, there were all kinds of strange flowers and trees all over the world. There were also many colorful spiritual fruits that could be seen everywhere. Zichen just glanced at it, and his body fell into a city. The people of the Thunder clan lived here. After seeing Lady, there was a look of surprise on their faces. They then saluted Lady one after another. Lady nodded indifferently and walked forward. Zi-Chun followed behind Lady. It seemed that Lady's status in the Thunder clan was not low. At the same time, after many people saluted Lady, they also looked at Zi-Chun curiously. Chapter 30, 381. What's the background of this person? He's actually being led by a saint? I don't know. I've never seen him before. He's unfamiliar. Is he a genius brought back from the outside? Saint Lady rarely goes out. He almost never participates in the matters of the Lei clan. Why did he bring an outsider this time? That's right. Even Lei Lan, the saint sovereign, has never cared about him. And looking at the direction, it seems like he's going to the registration place. Whispers could be heard coming from behind. Zi-Chun heard these discussions and knew that Lady's status was indeed very high, because when the saint spirits mentioned Lady, their faces were filled with worship. Zi-Chun curiously asked, "What's a saint sovereign?" Lady looked back at Zi-Chun and said, "Spirit ascension, saint spirit, saint sovereign." Zi-Chun suddenly opened his eyes wide and said in disbelief, "After saint spirit is saint sovereign? Then aren't you?" Looking at Zi-Chun's shocked expression, Lady said, "That's right. I'm just a saint sovereign that's slightly stronger than a 9-star saint spirit." Zi-Chun was shocked. He didn't expect Lady's background to be so great. The only thing he knew about saint sovereigns was what the old man in the Shungying sky said when he taught him the lightning controlling technique. It was a technique created by the lightning seigneur. When the lightning seigneur killed someone, he could directly trace it back to the hidden world and completely destroy it. Lady was such a powerful existence. This powerful existence was leading the way for him? How was this possible? Then Milord is the master of this world? Zi-Chun was shocked, and his tone of voice changed. "There's no need to be polite between us. Just call me Lady." Lady said, "I'm a saint sovereign, but I'm definitely not a ruler. There's no ruler in this world." Zi-Chun understood Lady's meaning. If there was no ruler in this world, then saint sovereigns were the top existences. If the saint spirit world was compared to a pyramid, then spirit ascension realm was the lowest level. 1-star to 9-star saint spirits were the middle level. Those who stood at the top were saint sovereigns. Under the guidance of the lightning seigneur, the two entered a special building. This place exuded an ancient aura. When people saw Lady, they all bowed. Lady came to the room, looked at a beautiful woman, and said, "Register his identity. Zi-Chun, core disciple, take a core token." When the beautiful woman saw Lady come in, she stood up to show her respect. But after hearing Lady's words, her face revealed an awkward expression. She glanced at Zi-Chun and said, "Sir, I'm afraid this is not in accordance with the rules. Our core disciple quota is limited, and we have to go through layers of tests." Lady reached out and interrupted him, saying, "I know the rules better than you. Just do as I say." The words of a saint venerable naturally carried a lot of weight. The beautiful woman in charge of the registration didn't dare to say anything else. She quickly lowered her head and handled the matter. At the same time, she asked, "Sir, do you want to take him as a disciple?" Usually, one would have to go through layers upon layers of selections, and after one passed, there would be a grade. Since the people brought by the Lord did not need to participate in the assessment, there had to be an explanation. Being the disciple of the Holy Venerate was enough. The identity token of the Holy Thunder region was equivalent to one's file, which could be checked at any time and anywhere. It was also a symbol of one's status. Lady shook his head and said, "No, just write that he has comprehended the thunder controlling technique, and I invited him to become a core disciple." When the beautiful woman heard this, her hands trembled. She carefully looked at Zichin. The Holy Venerate was the existence at the peak of this world. Their words carried a lot of weight. If one could become the disciple of a Holy Venerate, it would be the fate of several lifetimes. But the Holy Venerate in front of her used the word invite. In the Saint Spirit realm, what kind of person was worthy of being invited by a Holy Venerate? It was not a so-called genius disciple, because no one who could come to the Saint Spirit realm was mediocre. There were countless geniuses, and the Holy Venerate was the king of all geniuses. So, the person who could be invited by the Holy Venerate was not a genius, but a Holy Venerate. Only those of the same level could use the word invite. Now that Holy Venerate Lei Di used the word invite on Zichin, it showed how much he valued him. May I know how to write your name, your realm, and a drop of your blood? The beautiful woman immediately threw away the distracting thoughts in her heart and asked politely. Zichin walked forward and registered according to the requirements. Finally, he gave the other party a drop of his blood. The woman had been in charge of registering, and those who registered here were all the top geniuses in the Saint Lightning region. She had seen too much blood. At this moment, when Zichin's blood appeared, she could feel the strength of the energy contained in it. She knew that even if he did not pass the Holy Venerate Lady's test, he would still have a high chance of becoming a core disciple. Soon, a core token appeared in Zichin's hand. This was the token of the Saint Lightning region, indicating his identity as a member of the Lightning clan. In the future, this token would be very useful in the Saint Spirit realm. For example, the previous incident in the Meng region could be solved with this token. Seeing Zichin accept the token, Lei Di said, "Arrange for him to enter the lightning tree as soon as possible." The Saint Lightning region had existed for countless years, and many lightning trees had been cultivated. It was not a problem to arrange for a core disciple to enter the lightning tree. However, the woman knew very well that the lightning tree that the Holy Venerate was talking about was not the lightning tree that was cultivated. It was the only sacred lightning ancient tree in the Saint Lightning region. At the same time, it had another name, Sacred Lightning Ancient Ancestor. It was said that it was the oldest existence in the Saint Lightning region, even older than the current first ancestor of the Lightning clan. Seeing the two leave, the woman could not help but smile bitterly. There was a limit to the number of core disciples. Since Zichin had taken one, there would be one less place for the other. At the same time, the number of spots to enter the sacred lightning ancient tree was the same. After leaving the registration area, the Holy Venerate Lei Di said, "Let's go. I will arrange a place for you to stay." Zichin already knew the importance of Lei Di in the Lightning clan, and even in the entire Saint Spirit realm. At this moment, the expert who stood at the peak of the Saint Spirit realm personally took care of him and arranged his daily life. This made Zichin feel very uncomfortable, and he could not help but feel unnatural. He did not know why, but he felt that Lei Di was very good to him. He also felt a sense of closeness to this Holy Venerate that he had just met. Chapter 30, 382. Zichin listened silently and did not interrupt. However, he was very surprised in his heart. Unexpectedly, even the rooms were divided into different levels. The Earth Room's spiritual energy is the weakest, while the Thunder Room's spiritual energy is the purest. Thunder Earth Saint explained again. Zichin said, "Thunder surpasses Saint." Thunder Earth Saint nodded and said, "That's right. The person who created this place said that Saint is nothing. In his eyes, Thunder will always suppress Saint." Zichin blurted out, "That senior must be very powerful." Thunder Earth Saint said, "Not only is he powerful, he is also an extraordinary genius. The thunder controlling technique that you have mastered was created by him. Countless years have passed, and no one from the Thunder Clan has mastered the thunder controlling technique. You are the first person after the saint." Zichin opened his eyes wide. He did not expect that the thunder god who mastered the thunder controlling technique was one of the founders of this place. But unfortunately, that powerhouse had already perished. What is the name of that saint? Ziqin asked curiously. He wanted to remember the name of the other party. After all, he is the only successor of the other party. Thunder Earth Saint shook his head. It has been too long. No one remembers his name anymore. Only some words about him have been passed down. Zi-chan replied with an "oh" and felt very regretful. Let's go. I will bring you to the Thunder Room. While walking forward, Thunder Earth Saint said, those core disciples who move their worlds here will usually live in this city. After your room is settled, every 1,000 years, a resource will be sent to you. That is the treatment of a core disciple. I don't have to do anything? Ziqin asked. Thunder Earth Saint nodded. You don't have to do anything. However, there will often be assessments. Therefore, as a core disciple, the pressure is actually not small. Of course, you don't have to worry. No one will assess you. Obviously, this is because of Thunder Earth Saint. The moment Ziqin came here, he took too many benefits from the other party. Master! Suddenly, a clear voice came from behind. Ziqin heard the voice and turned around. He saw a woman walking forward. She was wearing a light armor covered with fine scales. The scales were shining with silver light. The woman was tall and slender, and her hair was tied into a ponytail. She looked valiant and formidable as she walked over quickly. Her delicate and beautiful face was filled with joy. Master, I finally see you. The woman walked up, looking very happy. Lei Dian nodded with an indifferent expression. The woman seemed to be used to Senior Lady's attitude. She didn't mind it and turned to observe Ziqin. Her big, beautiful eyes twinkled as if they could speak. Hello, I'm Ziqin. Ziqin was a little embarrassed by the other party's unwavering gaze, so he took the initiative to speak. Master, I just heard that you personally took care of a little fellow and arranged everything for him. I didn't believe it at first, but I didn't expect it to be true. When the woman spoke, she didn't look at Saint Venerable Lady. Instead, she was still looking at Ziqin, as if she were looking at some rare treasure. Ziqin was speechless. What did she mean by little guy? I say, what's your background? Not only did Master make an exception to give you a place, but he also arranged everything for you personally. You should know that I'm his disciple, but I've never enjoyed such treatment. I relied on my true strength to get here. The woman deliberately emphasized the word true strength. Saint Venerable Lady frowned and said, Lei Lan, don't be rude. Then Saint Venerable Lady said to Ziqin, Ziqin, she's Lei Lan, my disciple. She's used to speaking without thinking. You don't have to pay attention to her. Lei Lan opened her mouth in shock. The person in front of her was her master, who always wore a long face as if someone owed him money. Moreover, her master's tone was obviously apologizing. Why? Lei Lan's face immediately turned ugly. She pointed at Ziqin and said, Little fellow, tell me, how did you bewitch my master? How dare you? Saint Venerable Lady's face turned cold. Feeling the sudden drop in temperature, Ziqin hurriedly said, It's okay. Saint Venerable Lady said, Why aren't you apologizing to Ziqin? Lei Lan pouted, snorted, and muttered, I can beat 30 of him. Why should I apologize? In this world where the strong prey on the weak, is there a reason to apologize to the weak? Saint Venerable Lady was so angry that he almost laughed. Ziqin was worried that he would lose his temper, so he said again, Forget about apologizing. It's not a big deal. However, although you're a 3-star Holy Spirit, I don't believe that you can beat 30 of me. Lei Lan raised her fist. Thunder crackled on her fist as if she wanted to teach Ziqin a lesson. But soon she came to her senses. She withdrew her fist and snorted again. Let's go. Saint Venerable Lady no longer paid attention to Lei Lan. He looked at Zichin and said in a very kind voice, looking at the backs of the two people leaving, Lei Lan muttered in a low voice, Master Lei Di, don't tell me you've become stupid from cultivating? He doesn't give me, his disciple, a good look every day, but he's so nice to Zichin? And judging from the direction, he's going to the Thunder Mansion. Is he going to arrange Zichin there? Lei Lan stomped her foot in anger. What? He's your disciple. But he doesn't even have such good treatment. How can he be so nice to this guy? Suddenly, Lei Lan's face changed again. He's indifferent to a peerless beauty like me in front of him. But he doesn't give me a good look. Could it be? Lei Lan's eyes widened as if she had discovered a peerless secret. If you talk nonsense again, I'll punish you by sending you to the Thunder Prison. Suddenly, a cold voice rang in Lei Lan's ears. Lei Lan's heart trembled. She immediately looked up at the sky and muttered, Hey, did I fall asleep just now? And I even talked in my sleep? A cold snort rang in her ears again. Lei Lan giggled, but she didn't leave. Instead, she quietly followed. She had already arrived at the Thunder Mansion, but she didn't see the two people stop. Instead, they kept going deeper. What? Back then, he only gave me a heaven mansion. Now, not only did he give me a Thunder Mansion, but his number is even higher. Lei Lan's eyes were obviously filled with dissatisfaction. As she went deeper, her dissatisfaction became more intense. She pouted her mouth so hard that it could hang a wine bottle. Room 23. Lei Lan's eyes widened. She felt extremely incredulous. A mere 1-star Holy Spirit was actually assigned to Thunder number 23. And if there weren't people in room 22, she believed that he would definitely arrange Zichin to room 1. Why? Lei Lan, who was originally very angry, now had another guess. Could it be that Master has an ulterior motive? After all, letting a 1-star saint spirit skip the assessment and directly become a core disciple had already made many people angry. So, arranging him to this place was obviously not a bad thing. Chapter 30, 383. Lei Lan didn't follow him into Thunder number 23. Instead, she waited for Lei Di to come out. She immediately followed him and looked at him from head to toe. Looking at her eyes, Lei Di said indifferently, You're already a 3-star Holy Spirit, yet you're still acting like a child. What are you planning? Lei Lan said with grievance, Master, what are you talking about? I'm not planning anything this time. Master, you're too vicious. Lei Lan was probably the only person in the Sacred Thunder region who dared to say that a Holy Spirit was vicious. Lei Di, who knew Lei Lan's character, said, Just say it. Lei Lan said with a smile, Zichin is just a 1-star Holy Spirit. Master, you didn't accept him as a disciple and directly made him a core disciple. That's not right. After all, the quota is limited. If he's added, then another place will have one less place. Lei Di said indifferently, Can those people be called geniuses? It's not too much to remove all of them. Lei Lan said, That's one of the reasons. Another reason is that you let Zichin go to the Thunder Tree Ancestor to comprehend. He's just a 1-star Holy Spirit. There's no problem for him to comprehend in front of other Thunder Trees. Third, you let him live in the Thunder Mansion. Master should know very well what kind of people live there. What right does a 1-star Holy Spirit have? Lei Lan looked at Lei Di and said with certainty, forcing him to take something that doesn't belong to him and that he can't pick up will definitely bring a disaster to him. Therefore, I'm sure that Master is vicious and wants to kill him on purpose. Then Lei Lan said seriously, Master, you're enemies with him, right? Or maybe you're enemies with his ancestor and want to kill him on purpose. Lei Lan looked as if she wanted to be praised for being smart. Lei Di stared at her angrily. Then I'll let him give everything to you, okay? Lei Lan immediately clapped her hands happily. Of course. Thank you, Master. Then Lei Lan's eyes lit up. Master, did you have this idea long ago? You gave him these good things on purpose and gave them to me after he died. You're really wise. You're worthy of being my dearest master. Lady said angrily, Why is giving it to him harming him, but not to you? Leylon said, That's not the same. I'm a 3-star Holy Spirit, and I have my master behind me. Even if someone is dissatisfied, they have to fight with me openly. Let me ask you, under such circumstances, who am I, Leylon, afraid of? Lady didn't say anything and just left. He really didn't have anything in common with this disciple. Leylon suddenly thought of a very important question and said, That's impossible, right? Could it be that that fellow also has the same potential as me? Lady's voice came from the front. In terms of potential, it's hard to say whether it's good or bad. But in terms of battle, no one can compare to him. Lady disappeared, leaving Leylon alone in a daze. She had Lady as her backer, so of course she could bear all the opportunities. Even if someone was dissatisfied, they wouldn't dare to frame her behind her back. It was the same for Zichin. Everyone knew that Lady had arranged everything for him personally. Even if he was not his disciple, he had this backing and did not need to care about all kinds of oppression. The only thing he had to care about was a fair and square confrontation. Could it be that Lady had the same confidence in Zichin? In fact, it was not that Lady had full confidence in Zichin, but Lady did not think that there would be anyone who would be a threat to Zichin. It was just that times had changed and no one knew the power of the thunder controlling technique. Otherwise, why was there only one person among the countless geniuses of the Thunder Clan who knew it? Zichin sat in Thunder Room 23. Everything came so suddenly. It was as if all the hardships he had experienced in the past were all for today's training. Suddenly, one day, all of his sufferings turned into opportunities. The Lord personally came to invite him, gave him a good identity, and gave him all kinds of good resources. Everything was at his fingertips. It was simply the peak of life. The spiritual power in this room was very rich, and it was all the power of thunder. As he breathed, his power was increasing. Even if he didn't have other opportunities, he could keep on breaking through in this room. Moreover, Lady said that he could stay in this room for as long as he wanted. Lady also told him to go to the Thunder Tree to comprehend. Once it was arranged, someone would inform him. Lady also told him that if Zichin didn't have a suitable weapon, he could go to the armory to pick one. All the good things came so suddenly. However, Zichin was not happy at all. He was thinking about Lei Tianshi. Lei Tianshi knew the Thunder Clan's techniques, so he must be from the Thunder Clan. However, he never told him about the sacred Thunder region. He just disappeared like that. Zichin only felt that he had disappeared. He couldn't think too much about it. He didn't dare to think about it. Was everything in front of him real? He thought about the conversation he had with Lei Tianshi. At that time, Lei Tianshi asked him, Who told you to go to the sacred Thunder region? At that time, Lei Tianshi told him to seal the demon clan first and talk about it later. However, after that, he only heard Lei Tianshi's voice, telling him where the 4 holy spirits were hiding. After the battle, Lei Tianshi disappeared. Shui Wu also disappeared together with Lei Tianshi. Zichin could no longer sense its aura. Could it be that they were really dead? Last time, the power that suppressed him and made him unable to sense the world was not only targeting him, but also Lei Tianshi? Just as he was in a daze, a person suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Leylon, whom he had seen before. Hey, are you in a daze? I thought you were so happy that you were going to tear down the roof. Do you feel that all this is a dream and not real? Do you have the guts to go from a bumpkin to a millionaire? Do you feel like a meat pie fell on your head and smashed into your head and made you bleed and see stars? Leylon casually sat beside Zichin. She picked up the teapot and found that it was empty, so she put it down again. This is my place, Zichin said. Yes, the door wasn't locked, so I came in. Lei Lan said confidently, "Why, you don't welcome me? You know, I'm a 3-star Holy Spirit, and I'm Lady's disciple. If you're in danger, I can help you." Zichen said faintly, "This is the sacred Thunder region, one of the safest places in the Saint Spirit world. Why would I be in danger?" Lei Lan stared at him with her big eyes, as if she was looking at an idiot. "Although you were brought in by Master, you didn't come in the normal way, and you took someone else's place as soon as you arrived. Don't you think you're in danger?" Zichen said, "This was arranged by the Lord. If you have any objections, you can go to the Lord. Why are you looking for me?" Lei Lan seemed to have found a rare prey. "Wow, I didn't expect you to be a rascal. I really don't know why Lady values you so much. But do you expect him to stand up for you? Let me tell you, stop dreaming. I'm his closest disciple in this world. He has never stood up for me. So why would he stand up for a rascal like you? And he's famous for being lazy in the sacred Thunder region. He never participates in anything of the Thunder clan." Then Lei Lan said, "In the sacred Thunder region, only I, the 3-star Holy Spirit, Lei Lan, can help you." Zichen looked at Lei Lan and said, "How can you help me?" Lei Lan's eyes showed a touch of joy. She said, "Of course I can help you, but we're not familiar with each other. Why should I help you?" Zichen said lightly, "Well, what do you want?" Lei Lan looked at him with your very smart expression and said, "I want to live here." Looking at Zichen's changing expression, Lei Lan said, "It's very empty here. It's a waste for you to live here alone. But you can't have those dirty thoughts. Otherwise, I'll beat you up until you're traumatized for life. Remember, we're just cooperating." "Okay." Zichen nodded in agreement. Seeing Zichen so happy, Lei Lan was very surprised. "Are you sure?" Zichen nodded again. He didn't know anything about the sacred Thunder region. It was impossible for him to ask Lady about everything, with such a person by his side to answer all kinds of questions. Of course, there were many benefits. As for the spiritual power here, it was very rich. It didn't matter if there was one more person refining it. Seeing Zichen being so smart, Lei Lan stood up and patted him on the shoulder. She said, "Then it's settled. I'll protect you from now on." Chapter 30, 384. Lei Lan, who was about to brag about herself, was slightly stunned when she heard Zichen's words. She was in a cooperative relationship with Zichen, and her job was to protect Zichen. She had no obligation to explain the local customs of the Thunder clan to him. Zichen looked at Lei Lan and waited silently for her to continue. Lei Lan glared at Zichen. She wanted to defend her dignity and status as a powerhouse in this cooperation. Zichen raised his eyebrows slightly and curled his lips. "You don't even know this?" "Who says I don't know?" Lei Lan was the first to admit defeat after being provoked by Zichen. She said angrily, "That's the most ancient sacred tree of the Holy Thunder clan. It's even older than the current patriarch." Zichen said, "Tell me about its function." Lei Lan snorted unhappily and said, "It's very useful. It contains countless thunder techniques. As long as one's potential is high enough, one can comprehend any powerful thunder technique. Of course, if one's potential is poor, they will gain nothing." Zichen said, "That's it? Nothing else?" Lei Lan said unhappily, "Isn't that enough? To the Thunder clan, that's the sacred tree. It's said that there are many ancient techniques that have been passed down since ancient times that we haven't comprehended. Those techniques were born by the sacred tree. They're very powerful." Lei Lan's eyes lit up and said, "The Holy Thunder Tree also has a magical ability, which is to refine weapons." "How do you refine weapons?" Zichen asked curiously. Lei Lan said angrily, "How would I know?" It said that only some special existences can trigger the magical ability of the Holy Thunder Tree. There's always a rumor that my master got his weapon from the Holy Thunder Tree. Zichen asked doubtfully, "Can it be used to refine weapons? Or are there weapons inside? Go and ask the Holy Thunder Tree if it can answer you. Looking at the disdainful smile on Zi-Chen's face, Lei Lan said unhappily, let alone me. Even if you ask Lei Di, he can't give an accurate answer. The Holy Thunder Tree is the biggest secret of the Thunder Clan. It's also said that it's the root of our existence. Its mysteriousness is ranked among the top in the 3 realms. Isn't the Lord your teacher? Why did you call him by his name? I'm happy. Why do you care? Lei Lan looked down at Zi-Chen with a smug expression. Tell me about the opportunities here. What can you get? Zi-Chen asked again. Lei Lan was dissatisfied. Zi-Chen, you've gone too far. I'm here to protect you. I'm your master. You should be grateful to me. Not this kind of attitude. I am an adult, not a servant. Zi-Chen spread his hands and said, forget it. The cooperation is cancelled. You can go now. You're shameless. Lei Lan was furious. She continued, there are all kinds of opportunities here. Let's see if you are qualified. What qualifications do you need? Zi-Chen asked again. Lei Lan said, enter the Holy Spirit battlefield. Enter the Thunder Prison. To the Sea of Lightning. In short, there are many places. As long as you can get points, you are qualified. Points? What's that? It's the Thunder Clan's currency. You can get points by completing missions or making contributions. Points can be exchanged for anything here, including comprehending the Thunder Tree and exchanging for a core disciple position. With the threat from before, Lei Lan spilled everything she knew without holding back. Tell me about the Holy Spirit battlefield. What is that? It's the same as the God and Demon battlefield of the Spirit Ascension realm. After entering, you can fight with the God and Demon clans to get opportunities and points. Zi-Chen's expression changed when he heard this. Anytime, anywhere? Lei Lan looked at him as if he had never seen the world. What's so strange about that? This is the Holy Thunder region. We are the Thunder Clan. What about the Thunder Prison? What is that place? Prison. Speaking of that place, Lei Lan's expression changed. The place where the heinous criminals stay. It's very dangerous, but as long as you can come out alive, you will be very rich. Seeing that Zi-Chen was about to ask something, Lei Lan immediately stretched. I'm tired. What do you want to know? Wait until tomorrow. This place was big enough. There were 3 rooms. Lei Lan chose one and went in to rest. Zi-Chen sat there alone thinking. He had just arrived at the Thunder Clan, so he couldn't go back to his own world. Because once he went back, he couldn't come back. Fortunately, he could send his consciousness to the Zi-Chin Hall. In the Zi-Chin Palace Hall, brilliance flickered. The power of the rules circulated and transformed into Zi-Chin. He stepped out, left the Zi-Chin Hall, and came to the Tianwu continent. The bottom was lush, and ancient trees had covered every place. The place where Jono was also the core of the Tianwu continent. Zi-Chen's friends were all here. With a flash, Zi-Chen broke through the restriction and came to the tree hall. The others were in seclusion. Only Su Mengyao received the message and came to the tree hall. You haven't finished your mission? At first sight of Zi-Chen, Su Mengyao found that this was not his real body. It's done. I'm now in the sacred Thunder region. Zi-Chen, the manifestation of the precept, said, I called you here because I want you to make a deduction. Su Mengyao asked, what's the deduction? Zi-Chen said, Lei Tianchu's life and death. Su Mengyao knew that Lei Tianchu had come to this world and knew how powerful he was. Zi-Chen suddenly wanted her to deduce Lei Tianchu's life and death. This made her expression change. What happened? Zi-Chen said, I suspect that Lei Tianchu has been killed. Su Mengyao didn't ask for the reason and started to deduce. A hazy light circulated around her body, concealing her aura. It was very mysterious. Zi-Chen stood at the side and removed all the rules, trying to not interfere with Su Mengyao. A moment later, the light that covered Su Mingyao's body became unstable and eventually dispersed. Pooh! When the light disappeared, Su Mengyao coughed out a mouthful of blood. How is it? Zichen asked nervously. Su Mengyao wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and said, I can't deduce Lei Tianshi, nor can I deduce lightning divine hull, but what? Zichen was very nervous, but that world has shattered. Su Mingyao's face was pale. She had once lived in that world, and this martial heaven continent was also separated from that world. She had a secret art that could deduce it, but she saw the scene of the world's destruction. Zichen was very clear on what the destruction of the world meant. Lei Tianshi had really died. No wonder Shui Wu's aura had also disappeared. He had a bloodline connection with the main body. If he was still alive, the main body would have sensed it. Rule Zichen nodded. His expression was very ugly. What happened? Asked Su Mengyao. When the main body returns, I'll naturally tell you. Now, you should seize the time to cultivate and try to break through. After saying that, Zichen's body disappeared. At the same time, Zichen, who was in Thunder Room 23, opened his eyes with a gloomy expression. What's going on? Why are they so good to me after killing Lei Tianshi? Zichen was very puzzled. Zichen could sense that Lei Di was good to him, and he didn't know why, but when he saw Lei Di, he felt very close. Chapter 30, 385. She closed the door when she came in. Apparently, she had already planned to stay in the room. Zichen went to open the door. He recognized the woman in front of him. She was the one who gave him the core token. Zichen, my name is Liz. Congratulations on becoming a core disciple. The beautiful woman, named Liz, smiled at Zichen. Thank you. Zichen thanked her, but there was doubt in his eyes. Why was she called Liz? Were the people of the Thunder clan not surnamed Lei? These are the resources you will get after becoming a core disciple. The next share will be in 1,000 years. Liz took out something that looked like a Chinkuan pouch and handed it to Zichen. She said, there is also a quota token inside. It can only be used once. The Lord gave it to you. You can go to the weapon pavilion and pick a weapon that suits you. Okay, thank you. Zichen nodded. Liz smiled at him and left. Is there really something special about him that made the Lord spend so much effort on him? Liz had doubts in her heart as she left. That was why she wanted to see him personally. As for what the Lord said about Zichen being the first person to master the lightning manipulation technique, Liz did not really care. The Lightning Clan had a rumor regarding the lightning controlling technique. It was said to be miraculous, but no one had ever comprehended it. However, some geniuses could master the lightning manipulation technique. It was said that the Holy Thunder tree evolved it from the lightning manipulation technique. Zichen closed the door, and just as he turned around, he saw Leilan standing behind him and staring at him. Hey, aren't you asleep? Zichen was shocked. You're not sleepwalking, are you? Sleepwalking my ass. Leilan fiercely knocked on Zichen's head and said, Why did that woman come to find you? Zichen said, She gave me resources. As a core disciple, shouldn't I have resources? Leilan shook her head and said, It's not wrong to give you resources, but she shouldn't be the one to do it. Do you know who she is? Zichen nodded. Yes, Liz. She was the one who helped me register. Leilan continued. Then do you think a person who is in charge of registering core members will personally deliver the resources? You don't have enough people, right? Zichen asked. Not enough manpower? Hee, what is this place? This was the core city of the Thunder Clan. Who knows how many people outside are racking their brains to come here? If they didn't have enough manpower, those families would have already sent people in. Leilan pointed at her feet and said, Just standing here for a while is an opportunity for many people. Chen believed in this. The power of thunder in this city was very strong, which was beneficial for cultivation. Suddenly, Chen realized something. Wait, you mean the family? Isn't this the Thunder Clan? Why is there a clan here? Leylon said, the Thunder Clan is just a unified name, and there is indeed the surname Lei. However, in the sacred Thunder region, it is impossible for everyone to have the surname Lei. The old ancestor is not so overbearing. After many experts came here, they kept their surname and then started a family here. Leylon pointed at Chen and said, for example, you are called Chen. When you become an expert and can start a family, your descendants and descendants will all have the surname Z. This is a family. Chen suddenly understood. Liz's real surname is Gra. In the sacred Thunder region, the surname Gra can be ranked in the top 10. This analogy made Chen more clear about the complexity of the Thunder Clan. Looking at the changing expression of Chen, Leylon patted his shoulder and said earnestly, now you should know the meaning of me protecting you, right? Today, Gra, Lei came here not only to deliver resources, but also to gather information. What information? Leylon thought for a moment and said, for example, where you live, or to observe you from a close distance and then to sell information about you to other competitors, or to those who have their quota snatched by you. The word snatched is not appropriate, is it? Chen said, I didn't do anything. But Leylon did. I've thought about it carefully. He must have an ulterior motive to harm you. While saying this, Leylon secretly looked at the door. Fortunately, the door was closed. He gave you a lot of things that you can't afford just to attract attention and become the target of public criticism. So, I've always suspected that your ancestor had an irreconcilable enmity with him. Unfortunately, he became a Saint Venerable and couldn't take revenge. So he thought of this compromise. Looking at Leylon's serious tone, Chen's expression was very strange. In this world, there was actually someone who talked about his master like this? He asked, then how should I resolve it? Leylon said awkwardly, this is an extremely difficult choice. On one hand, there are various resources, and on the other hand, there are various dangers. It depends on whether you can let go of them. For example, this Thunder Room is very unsuitable for you. Chen said discontentedly, Leylon, this is too much. I just agreed to live with you, and you want to drive me away? Leylon was stunned and said angrily, what nonsense are you talking about? Who's living with you? Chen said, we live in the same room. If this isn't living together, then what is? What a scoundrel! Leylon gritted her teeth and said, I really can't figure out why Lady is so good to a scoundrel like you. Chen smiled and said, what you can't figure out is yet to come. Do you see what this is? Chen had an additional token in his hand. When he took it out, there was a faint clanging sound coming from it. Leylon's eyes lit up. This is the identity token to enter the weapon pavilion. How did you get it? Chen said, Master Lady gave it to me. Damn it, he's really good to you. This is equivalent to you being able to enter the weapon pavilion and take any weapon. Leylon was furious and very discontented. Her eyes stared the token in Chen's hand and kept turning it. The next moment, she said, Chen, I'm lacking a handy weapon recently. If danger comes, I might not be able to protect you. How about this? You give this quota to me. After I find a suitable weapon, I'll protect you. How about it? Chen's response was to put away the token. He had originally wanted to anger Leylon, who was spouting nonsense and trying to scare him. Chen, how about this? As long as you give me the quota token, I'll agree to any request you make. Leylon said again. Really? Chen looked Leylon up and down. Looking at her curvy figure, his eyes lit up. Of course. Leylon deliberately twisted her waist to make herself more attractive. However, it was obvious that she did not do this often. It looked very funny, but it also had a different kind of beauty. As long as you're willing, you can even give me your body. She lowered her voice and said softly. Her voice was very soft, but in fact, she had made up her mind to beat Zichen up as long as he took the token. After all, she was a 3-star Holy Spirit. Zichen smiled and said, Leylon, you're very similar to a friend of mine. Leylon said, Really? She's the one you love the most, right? Chapter 30, 386. Leyland's expression instantly froze. Monk? Bald thief? Like a thief? She was as beautiful as a flower, loved by everyone who saw her. Her pursuers lined up for a few streets. Zichen was blind. Not only did he not know how to appreciate her, he actually said she was like a thief. Furthermore, he even compared her to a monk. Leylon was about to explode in anger. Lightning surged on her body, and smoke rose from her head. Feeling the strong energy, fluctuations from Leyland's body, Zichen had a bad feeling. He immediately said, You can't fight here, right? I say, you have to be careful. If something happens, I can't protect you. Ayaya, this lady is so angry. I need you to protect me. Zichen, I will kill you. For a moment, the room was in chaos. The sound of objects falling to the ground could be heard. Luckily, Leylon knew her limits. She did not really do anything to Zichen. However, after this incident, she was even more certain that Zichen was a scoundrel. Looking at the messy floor, Zichen said, I am going to break through. Clean up the room. Leylon, who had just suppressed her anger, immediately screamed, Zichen, I am your lord. What do you think I am? A servant? Lord. Zichen laughed. Lord, please clean up the floor. After that, Zichen entered the room. Leylon was so angry that she stomped her feet. After Leyland's disturbance, Zichen's mood eased a little. However, he still could not accept the fact that Lei Tianshi had died. When he was on the Life Star, Lei Tianshi was already in a miserable state. He had finally revived and become stronger. How could he die again? However, if he did not die, why could he not even sense Xue Wu's aura? One must know that Xue Wu had a soul connection with him. It was just like the Sky Martial Continent and Zichen's world. As long as the other party still existed, no matter how far they were, he could sense them. Throwing away the distracting thoughts, Zichen decided to first refine the resources to break through. He opened the bag and saw that there were 10 spar stones inside. The crystal was emitting a dazzling light of thunder. The 10 crystals floated in front of Zichen. Zichen could clearly feel the pure power contained within them. There are actually 10 holy thunder crystals. How biased! Suddenly, Leyland's voice came from the door. Zichen immediately put away the crystal and said with dissatisfaction, Hey, that's too much. This is my room. Leylon said, Why didn't you close the door? Zichen said, I don't have the habit of closing the door, and I have the habit of practicing naked. Leylon was puzzled. What naked cultivation? Zichen said, It's cultivating naked. Leyland's cheeks immediately turned red. She glared at Zichen. Scoundrel, you really are a stinking scoundrel. With that, Leylon closed the door and left. That's a holy lightning crystal of the holy lightning level. After refining it, it can increase the power of lightning. Speaking of which, at your level, you should only get 5 of them. That guy Lei Di is really biased. Leyland's angry voice came from outside. You're not his elder. Why is he so nice to you? Zichen was amused. Leylon didn't use any vulgarities when she scolded people. She definitely wanted to say something like, You're not his father, but she was worried that the Lord would hear it. After adjusting his mood, Zichen took out a holy thunder crystal and started refining it. Strands of lightning energy entered his body. This was pure energy. There was almost no need to refine it before it could be absorbed by his body. Moreover, This power was even purer than the holy crystals obtained from killing the holy spirits. Of course, it was mainly because Zi Chun was Lei Wu, a member of the Lei clan. After cleaning up the messy living room, Lei Lan looked at Zi Chen's door and muttered, "What a lucky guy, but he's a little too shameless. But at least you're smart. You know to improve your strength first, and didn't walk around recklessly." Lei Lan snorted. "Otherwise, you'll remember this lesson for life." After that, Lei Lan went back to her room to cultivate. This thunder room was definitely extraordinary. Even for the current her, it was still extremely useful. Even if she didn't use any resources and just cultivated here for 1,000 years, she was confident that she could break through to 4-star. Hu Wei stared at Liz in front of him and said unhappily, "What did you say?" "My slot is gone." Liz said helplessly, "I've already repeated it twice. Your slot is gone." "Why?" "I worked so hard to participate in the test and finally passed countless tests. I went through so many life and death situations to get a slot. Why is it gone just like that?" Hu Wei said unhappily, "I need an explanation." Liz said, "I can't give you an explanation. You should go to the Lei Di, Holy Master, and ask for it." He took the slot and gave it to someone called Zichin. "This is robbery. Are there any thunder techniques? Where are the rules of the Lei clan?" Hu Wei's face was full of anger, but he could only vent it on Liz. How would he dare to ask the Holy Master for an explanation? Let alone him. Even the patriarch of the Hu clan didn't dare to go. The few people who had obtained a spot looked at Hu Wei with strange gazes. Robbery? The rules of the Lei clan? Going through countless tests and life and death situations? As members of big clans, which one of them didn't use connections to stand here? Without a certain connection, how could they be qualified to participate in the core disciple test? As for being a genius, this world didn't lack geniuses the least. The 10,000 spirit world had already screened those who weren't geniuses millions of times. Those who could come here were no mediocre people. Liz looked at the others and said, "You all have become core disciples. Go to the earth rooms and someone will arrange a place for you." These people's faces were full of joy. Even the lowest level earth class rooms were extremely useful to 2-star holy spirits like them. Only Hu Wei came in high spirits and returned in disappointment. Even if he was unwilling, he didn't dare to do it here. Even if his position in the Hu clan was very high and he could do whatever he wanted there, he couldn't do it here. This wasn't just a place for geniuses. It was also a place where the power of the sacred thunder region gathered. Those who could stay here for a long time. Which one of them didn't have a complicated power behind them? Take Liz, for example. She came from the Jela clan and had a very high position in the clan, but she was willing to come here to work. Hu Wei left tactfully. He needed to find the clan to reason things out. At this time, only by using the clan's connections could he get justice. Moreover, even if one of the slots was removed, it would be when the clan's power was competing and not just randomly pick him. Hu Wei returned to the clan and told the clan about this matter, which immediately caused the clan to be furious. "This is too much. This is too much. Are they trying to bully my Hu clan?" The 8-star holy spirit of the Hu clan, Hu Lushan, had a face full of anger. "Who dares to snatch my Hu clan slot?" Hu Lushan asked. "It's the Saint Venerable, Lady Holy Venerable," Hu Wei said. Hu Lushan's face was full of shock. He didn't know whether to be angry or not. His expression immediately became interesting. How could this be? Didn't the Saint Venerable not interfere in the clan's matters? Chapter 30, 387. Hu Lushan personally brought Hu Wei to the core city. Of course, he did not really dare to cause trouble here. He just wanted to reason with someone. One of the slots was taken by the sacred venerate. No one dared to object. But why was it Hu Wei from their family? Even if Hu Wei's score was lower, it did not prove that Hu Wei's talent was worse than others. It was just that he did not perform well during the battle. In fact, in the Saint Spirit sector, the competition was no longer about talent, but about family power. During the assessment, there were many one-star Holy Spirits, but why was it that the family disciples always got the last slot? Was it because of strength? It was the power that was at fault. The family was the one behind the scenes, operating everything. Once the participants succeeded in getting the slot, they would be given resources by the Thunder Clan. Even an idiot would become a genius. Without resources, what was the point of being a genius? They would still be stuck in the same place. This was the same. Why was it Hui? It was related to the assessment score, but it was closely related to the family strength. Lushan came here to reason, but there was no reason. When the slots were decided, Liz and the people behind her had already carefully selected and seen the pros and cons. Lushan came with anger and returned with monstrous anger. But it was not useless. For example, someone mentioned the sacred venerate lady's temperament, so this matter was not without a turning point. After returning to the family, Lushan looked at Hui and said, "It's up to you whether you can get the slot back or not." Hui listened quietly. Lushan continued, "I heard that the sacred venerate gave Ziqin a lot of help this time, such as letting him stay in the Thunder Room. If you can defeat him and get everything he has, it will be your good fortune. This is both a trial and an opportunity." Hui was shocked when he heard this. He didn't even dare to think about the Thunder Symbol's room. One had to know that those who had just gotten the slots were all in the Earth Room. After knowing that the opponent was only a one-star Holy Spirit, Hui was full of confidence and went to the core area again. Here, Hui decided to challenge Ziqin. Unfortunately, Ziqin had been cultivating in seclusion and did not step out of his room. Hui snorted coldly. "I don't believe that you won't come out." No matter how much courage he had, he wouldn't dare to cause trouble outside Ziqin's room. If he disturbed the other neighbors, he would be in a very bad situation. He might even be directly evicted. In the room, Ziqin was refining resources to increase his realm. After Leilan returned to her room, she didn't come out. Ziqin was still unaware of what was happening outside. He was fully focused on refining the Holy Lightning Crystal. This was a famous resource of the Holy Thunder region. Only core disciples could obtain it for free. As for others, they had to exchange for it with contribution points. In the entire Sacred Thunder region, core disciples were the most respected people. Their status in the Thunder Clan was extremely high, and it was the same in the entire Saint Spirit world. For many people, it was very difficult to obtain these things. For many rogue cultivators, unless they were extremely lucky, it was very difficult for them to obtain it. The Thunder Territory's core spots were mostly occupied by those families with status in the Thunder Clan. Moreover, there was always competition between the clans. For example, Hui this time, other than squeezing out rogue cultivators, he also squeezed out many people from the clans. After all, there were many clans and the spots were limited. Only Ziqin took a shortcut here. It could be said that he reached the heavens in a single bound. The impact of this matter was huge. Discussions about him were everywhere in the city. As the person involved, Ziqin wasn't clear about this. He had already refined 2 holy lightning crystals and was in the process of refining the third one. Saint Venerable Lei Di held a map in his hand and was currently checking the location on it. This map recorded the various regions of the Thunder Clan in detail. It even recorded some secret places. Once placed in the Saint Spirit world, it would be a priceless treasure. Even the secret of the Holy Thunder Clan would be exposed because of this. However, in this Saint Spirit world, it seemed like no one dared to have any ideas about the Saint Venerable. Saint Venerable Lei Di carefully checked the map in order to find a good location for Ziqin's world. One had to admit that Saint Venerable Lei Di was very concerned about Ziqin. Men. A moment later, Saint Venerable Lei Di kept the map. An old man stood outside. "What can I do for you, Saint Venerable?" The old man was the housekeeper of the Saint Venerable's residence. He had stayed here for many years. How is Zichen recently? Saint Venerable Lady asked. Young Master Zichen has been in seclusion. He has never left his room, the old housekeeper said. However, many people are paying attention to him outside. One of them is Hu Wei from the Hu clan. I heard that it's about the quota. Saint Venerable Lady heard this and sneered. It seems that he knows my character. He thinks that I won't interfere too much in this matter. The old housekeeper said. If that's the case, do you want to inform Hu Lushan? Lady said, no need. He can only grow faster with a sense of crisis. Hu Lushan won't dare to break the rules, even if he has more guts. Yes, the old housekeeper nodded. After seeing that the Saint Venerable had no other orders, he left. In fact, the old housekeeper was also very confused. According to the Saint Venerable's character, he didn't even care about Leilon, his only disciple. Why was he so concerned about Zichen? When he found out that Zichan was staying in Thunder Room 23, he was even more shocked. Arrange for Zichen to go to the Eastern Thunder region immediately. He can choose a place to put his world there. A light appeared in Saint Venerable Lady's hand. The light turned into a thunder token and flew out of the room. The old housekeeper who had disappeared earlier appeared silently and left with the Saint Venerable's thunder token. After following the Saint Venerable for so many years, the housekeeper naturally understood the Saint Venerable's intention. Therefore, he didn't arrange this matter himself. Very quickly, the mission was passed down layer by layer, and somehow it reached Liz. Leave it to me. Liz volunteered and left with the Saint Venerable's thunder token. She went straight to Thunder Room 23. Liz, where are you going? Along the way, Liz saw Hu Wei. He immediately asked her, I'm going to find Zichen. Liz didn't hide it. I'm taking him to the Eastern Thunder region. Hu Wei's eyes flashed with eagerness. Now. Liz nodded and left without hesitation. Zichen, let's see how you can hide. It's time to return everything that belongs to me. A cold light flashed in Hu Wei's eyes. Every room was maintained by a formation. Outsiders couldn't open it. At the same time, there was a restriction. Once triggered, it would gently wake the person in the room. It was like a gentle breeze that wouldn't affect cultivation. Zichen opened his eyes when he heard the sound of the restriction being activated. When he opened the door, he was surprised to see Liz again. Zichen, I'm here to take you to the Eastern Thunder region. Chapter 388. Eastern Lightning Region. Zichen was stunned when he heard this, and he asked curiously, Where is that? Liz said, It's a region under the Thunder Clan's jurisdiction. There are many planets and prosperous trading grounds inside. It's considered the outer region. Zichen suddenly understood. He had told the Thunder Clan's saint to place his world outside. Obviously, the other party had always kept it in mind. So he asked, Are we leaving now? Liz nodded. All right then. Zichen was about to leave with Liz. Wait, I'll go with you. At this time, Leilon walked out of the room. When Liz saw Leilon, she was a little surprised. Her gaze wandered between the two of them. I'm going to place my world. There's no point for you to follow, right? Zichen said, I have to protect your safety. What if some people with bad intentions suddenly attack you? Leilon said, A mere one-star Holy Spirit. You're strong outside, but not in the sacred Thunder region. Zichen didn't refuse Leilon. He wasn't familiar with this place at all. Having Leilon with him was good. Compared to Liz, Zichen trusted Leilon more. The three of them walked towards the teleportation circle. Zichen, you're finally out. After leaving the Thunder region, Zichen heard a cold voice. A person appeared in front of him. It was a young man. His face was filled with anger as he stared at Zichen with cold eyes. You're looking for me? Zi Chen looked at the unfamiliar person. Hu Wei, what do you want? Lei Lan glanced at Hu Wei with disdain. However, there was a hint of joy in her heart because someone had finally come to cause trouble for Zi Chen. It was time for her to make a move. Otherwise, Zi Chen wouldn't know her purpose. Lei Lan, this has nothing to do with you. Hu Wei angrily walked forward. He pointed at Zi Chen and said, I'm here to settle the score with him. I don't know you, Zi Chen said indifferently. But I know you. You robbed me of all my resources, everything. Hu Wei said angrily, I am here to duel with you. Without waiting for Zi Chen to speak, Lei Lan stepped forward and shielded Zi Chen behind her. I'll fight you. Liz stood there without saying a word, only curiously sizing up Zi Chen. Zi Chen's expression was very calm, without the slightest hint of nervousness or panic. Liz's gaze swept across her surroundings and saw a few figures. She thought to herself, these people aren't stupid. Zi Chen's matter was related to Holy Sage Lei Di, so Hu Wei didn't dare to act recklessly. He had deliberately called over so many people because he wanted everyone to witness that he had obtained everything that should have been his through fair and square methods. Zi Chen, fight me if you have the guts. What's the point of hiding behind a woman? Hu Wei, who was only a 2-star, naturally didn't dare to fight with Lei Lan. Hence, he intentionally mocked her. Zi Chen said indifferently, she is now my guardian. Guardian? Hu Wei sneered and said, I couldn't tell that you're really shameless, standing behind a woman. Aren't you ashamed? Fight me if you have the ability. Zi Chen wasn't enraged. Instead, he laughed. I'm shameless standing behind a woman. Then what about you? You don't even have the courage to fight with a woman, and you want to fight me? I say, if you don't have the guts, then hurry up and leave. Don't make a spectacle of yourself here. Hu Wei was born in the Holy Thunder region. He was also a proud figure of the Hu family. He rarely suffered losses in his life. Normally, it was always him relying on his family's power to snatch other people's resources. When had he ever been robbed? The last time his quota was snatched away, it was considered his first big loss in his life. He was an existence that had always been protected by his family. How could he possibly be Zi Chen's opponent in a verbal confrontation? Zi Chen's journey was completely one step at a time. He had seen all kinds of people and things. How could he possibly be at a disadvantage in a verbal confrontation? Sure enough, Hu Wei flew into a rage. I'm going to kill you. However, he wasn't stupid either. He still didn't fall for it and expressed that he wanted to fight with Lei Lan. Right then, Lei Lan said, I won't bully you. I'll suppress to 2-star realm and fight with you. Humph. Hu Wei snorted and said, I, Hu Wei, have never hit a woman. Lei Lan, get out of the way. Zi Chen, I'll suppress to 1-star realm and fight with you. I just can't take this lying down. If you lose, I don't need you to compensate me for everything that I've lost. I just need you to apologize to me. If I lose, I'll admit that I'm not as good as you. I don't deserve the quota, and I won't trouble you in the future. Zi Chen smiled and said, You're really lame at trying to provoke me. Speaking of which, I thought that the playboys in the Saint Spirit world might be different. I didn't expect them to be the same as the playboys in my world. Some of their methods are even more clumsy. Hu Wei sneered, You don't dare. If Zi Chen lost, even if it was just an apology, it would be a loss of face for the Holy Sage Lei Di. Zi Chen wasn't afraid of rumors, but he definitely couldn't let the Holy Sage Lei Di lose face in front of him. Moreover, this kind of provocation was indeed clumsy. Zi Chen smiled faintly and said, Since you're looking for a beating, I'll fulfill your wish. However, you don't have to suppress your cultivation. I'm a 1-star martial artist, and I can deal with you, a 2-star martial artist. Lei Lan turned around and looked at Zi Chen with a strange look in her eyes. A ray of light lit up in Liz's eyes. Shameless boasting. Humph. I'll suppress my 1-star martial artist to fight with you. Hu Wei snorted coldly. The 2-star martial artist's aura surged out from his body and became a 1-star martial artist. There was a hint of admiration in Lei Lan's eyes. Zi Qin had silently provoked Hu Wei, causing him to give up on his own initiative. Not only Lei Lan, but Liz and the other spectators also had the same thought. Hu Wei raised his head and looked at the sky. He said in a deep voice, "I challenge Zi Qin to protect me." Zi Qin was a little surprised. Who was he talking to? Buzz. There was a ripple in the sky. A ray of light shone down and enveloped the surroundings, forming a space of its own. At this moment, the 4 of them had already left the city and arrived at another battle space. Lei Lan looked at Zi Qin, who had a strange expression, and explained, "This is a special battle space. Fighting here won't cause any damage to other things. However, you have to be careful. This space won't disappear until there's a winner." After saying that, Lei Lan retreated and left the space. "Good luck, Zi Qin. I have faith in you." Liz smiled and left as well. If Zi Qin couldn't defeat Hu Wei in a battle of the same level, no one would say anything. Only Zi Qin and Hu Wei were left in the space. There was a faint light flowing around their bodies as they merged with the space. The others could easily retreat, but not the 2 of them. There was a resistance on their bodies. "Are you afraid?" Hu Wei said coldly. Zi Qin said, "I've never fought with anyone since I came to the Thunder Clan. I don't want to fight with anyone. I just want to live in harmony with everyone." "Humph, you want to beg for mercy?" "It's too late." Hu Wei's voice was cold. Zi Qin said, "I won't go so far as to beg for mercy. It's just that I've always wanted peace, but trouble still came. I can only hope that after I beat you up today, no more trouble will come to me." "You're courting death." Hu Wei's eyes flashed coldly. The power of thunder erupted from his body. Like a bolt of lightning, he went straight for Zi Qin. Bang! He punched Zi Qin's head. Zi Qin's body immediately exploded. Hu Wei turned around and looked behind him. He saw Zi Qin standing there. "Thunder Flash?" he said in surprise. "You've just arrived at the Thunder Clan and haven't comprehended the Thunder Tree. How can you use Thunder Flash?" Zi Qin said, "As a show of respect, I'll give you another chance to attack." "Go to hell!" Hu Wei shouted angrily. His body flashed, and he also used Thunder Flash. He arrived beside Zi Qin. Lightning flashed, and he punched forward. Zi Qin disappeared. The 2 used Thunder Flash at the same time. Their speed was about the same. Chapter 30, 389. As the lightning flashed, the 2 figures kept flashing. Up until now, there had not been a real collision. The expressions of the surrounding spectators all changed. They felt extremely astonished. They knew a little about Zi Qin. He had not been to the Thunder Tree to comprehend it. How did he know the Thunder Clan's rapid thunder flash? Moreover, it seemed that his comprehension level was not weaker than Hu Wei's. Hu Wei was a 2-star sacred spirit. Even if he deliberately suppressed his strength by 1 star, his comprehension level was still 2-star. Why were they on par with each other? Just as they were confused, they heard Zi Qin's voice. "It seems that your thunder flash is only SOSO. Forget it. Let's end this quickly." The light flashed again, and he stood up. Immediately after, Hu Wei arrived beside him and threw a punch at Zi Qin's face. Lightning surged and was extremely terrifying. Countless lightning snakes surrounded his body. Feeling the power of this punch, a smile appeared on Zi Qin's face. He clenched his fist and attacked. Lightning flashed again, but the power of the lightning was more condensed and terrifying. Boom! The 2 fists met and the lightning exploded. Hu Wei's body was directly submerged by the lightning. He was immediately sent flying. This was the first time the 2 had exchanged blows. The expressions of the spectators, who were still indifferent before, changed one by one. How is that possible? Is that thunder explosion? How does he know thunder explosion? Everyone was a sacred spirit, and they were all geniuses. They naturally had extraordinary vision. They recognized Zi Chen's thunder explosion at a glance, just as they did not understand why Zi Chen knew Thunder Flash when he had not been to the Thunder Tree. They also did not understand why Zi Chen knew Thunder Explosion. Could it be Lei Di? Lei Lan, who was also puzzled, immediately guessed one person. If it was Lei Di who had taught him in advance, everything would make sense. However, Lei Lan knew Lei Di's character very well. He was very impatient when talking to others. How could he have the patience to teach skills? However, thinking of Lei Di's attitude toward Zichen, it seemed to be possible. Just as Lei Lan was guessing, Hu Wei, who was sent flying, shouted, "Holy thunder, annihilation!" In the sky, space distorted as a powerful aura surged out. A terrifying palm imprint that emitted lightning descended from the sky. Zi Chen tapped his foot and soared into the air. The explosive thunder fist, which he had not used previously, was now unleashed with all his might. Boom! Zi Chen's fist landed, shattering the palm print and landing on the ground. When he landed, his body froze. Beside Hu Wei, Zi Chen reappeared and unleashed another thunderblast. Boom! Hu Wei, who had no time to react, was sent flying. After seeing this scene, the expressions of the people who were already suspicious began to change. Whoosh! Zi Chen disappeared again and approached with Thunder Flash. Then, the crowd saw Zi Chen use the combination of Thunder Flash and Thunder Explosion to send Hu Wei flying. How could this be? Many people cried out in surprise. Even if Hu Wei had suppressed his cultivation level, he shouldn't be so weak. He had participated in countless battles and was definitely one of the top geniuses of the Thunder Clan. Why would he be suppressed like this? What's being suppressed is not strength, but speed. Some of the high-level holy spirits who were watching the show said in deep voices. Their expressions became serious. What? Hearing this explanation, many people's expressions changed as they found it unbelievable. Hu Wei, who had suppressed his cultivation level, was actually suppressed by Zi Chen, a one-star holy spirit? In that case, in terms of comprehension of Thunder Flash, the two-star Hu Wei was no match for the one-star Zi Chen? Boom! The last thunder blast resounded, and blood splattered in the air. Hu Wei spat out blood and fell heavily to the ground. The crowd was in an uproar. Hu Wei was defeated, just like that? Lei Di must have given him special treatment. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so strong. Lei Lan thought so in her heart, and she was very sure of it. No wonder the sacred master would take special care of him. His comprehension of Thunder Flash has already surpassed Hu Wei. Liz also had her own speculations in her heart. Zi Chen looked at the unwilling Hu Wei and said, "I wasn't trying to provoke you. Don't suppress your cultivation level. Just use your two-star strength. I think you'll be convinced of your defeat." Hu Wei stood up, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said coldly, "That's what you said." Zi Chen nodded and said, "Don't worry, I won't laugh at you. This way, I'll be able to fight to my heart's content." "You're courting death." Hu Wei used his anger to stimulate his two-star strength. "See how I'll torture you." With that, he disappeared. In an instant, he was in front of Zi Chen and attacked Zi Chen. Zi Chen had already disappeared, and his afterimage was shattered. Hu Wei's expression didn't change, and his figure flickered again. The Thunder Flash of the Thunder Tribe had a great advantage in the battle between the Thunder Tribe disciples. Usually, when one had the advantage in speed, he could easily suppress his opponent, just like how Zi Chen suppressed Hu Wei. In terms of strength, Thunder Flash didn't have much of an advantage, but in terms of speed, Zi Chen was stronger. Just when everyone thought that the two-star Hu Wei could firmly suppress Zi Chen, they strangely discovered that the two's speed was actually on par with each other. How was this possible? With a difference of one realm, how could this be the result? No one could understand. Fortunately, Zi-Chun didn't have the absolute advantage from before and couldn't gain the slightest advantage in speed. However, if the battle continued like this, Zi-Chun's energy would be exhausted first, and then he would be defeated. But would it really be like this? Of course not. Zi-Chun quickly punched, and another thunder flash. With a loud bang, the lightning exploded, and Zi-Chun's body slid back. With a 1-star gap, his thunder flash couldn't gain the upper hand. Hu Wei stared at him and said coldly, "It's your turn now." Zi-Chun smiled and said, "It's my turn to beat a drowning dog." Hu Wei rushed forward and punched out, surrounded by countless lightning. This punch was definitely his peak punch. Zi-Chun also clenched his fist, but this time he used the power of the 7 demon bones. The demon bones glowed, and a powerful force came out of his body. The instant the 2 fists collided, a loud boom resounded in all directions. Powerful fluctuations spread out, and within the fluctuations there was the sound of bones breaking and Hu Wei's scream. On Zi-Chun's hand, the power of lightning gradually retracted, and the demon bones dimmed, and then disappeared into his palm. Hu Wei fell to the ground and screamed. His arm was broken. Outside this space, everyone was shocked, and they were almost petrified. "How do you feel now?" Zi-Chun looked at Hu Wei with a smile. "I want you to die." Hu Wei stood up, and a bolt of lightning flew out from between his eyebrows, like a sharp sword, and went straight for Zi-Chun. Chapter 30, 390. The soul attack turned into a sharp sword and came straight at him. Zi-Chun did not have the time to dodge, nor did he have the intention to. He allowed the attack to enter his mind. He felt a sharp pain in his mind as if he was being pricked by a needle. But that was all. Zi-Chun did not slow down. He arrived in front of Hu Wei in an instant and punched again. He used the power of the demonic bone again. This was the fundamental power that allowed him to fight above his level. The punch landed on Hu Wei's chest. Hu Wei's body bent like a shrimp, and he coughed out blood. The sound of bones breaking was heard again. Hu Wei landed on the ground and looked at Zi-Chun in disbelief. His Thunder Spirit technique was a 2-star Holy Spirit attack. How powerful was that? Why did it not cause any damage to Zi-Chun? The crowd of spectators outside were also extremely shocked. Die! 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 Several powerful attacks flew out from between Hu Wei's eyebrows. These attacks turned into various weapons and entered Zi-Chun's mind. In Zi-Chun's mind, his soul power formed a defense and blocked all the attacks. Even the 3-star ancient demon spirit dragon's soul attack could not hurt Zi-Chun, let alone Hu Wei, who was only a 2-star Holy Spirit. After blocking all the attacks, Zi-Chun arrived in front of Hu Wei again and punched him again. Every punch was full force, and Hu Wei's bones cracked. The pain made Hu Wei scream, and more soul attacks flew out. However, Zi-Chun was like a soulless person. He did not even frown and continued to punch. Everyone's hearts were beating wildly as they listened to the deafening roar through the Space Guardian. The roar was like a mountain hitting one's body. It was terrifying. Lei Lan widened her eyes in disbelief. She did not expect Zi-Chun to be so powerful. Liz's beautiful eyes flashed. She seemed to understand why the Lord insisted on giving Zi-Chun the slot. The battle was over. Zi-Chun defeated Hu Wei, a 2-star Holy Spirit with his 1-star strength. Following this, he believed that all the troubles would be gone with a wave of his hand. Get lost! Suddenly, Hu Wei let out a furious roar as a terrifying power erupted from his body, sending Zi-Chun flying. Zi-Chun, who was flying backwards, felt a sense of danger. After landing, his expression became solemn. Hu Wei was covered in blood. He stood up shakily with a talisman in his hand. The talisman flickered with lightning. The sense of danger came from this talisman. That's a 3rd-grade talisman. Seeing this scene, the expressions of the people in the outer circle changed greatly. This kind of talisman was unique to the Thunder Clan, and its grade corresponded to the level of the Holy Spirit. Only a 5-star Saint Spirit could refine such a 3rd-grade talisman. Once it was activated, even a 3-star Saint Spirit would be injured. As for Zichen, a 1-star Holy Spirit, if he was hit, he would most likely die immediately. Feeling threatened, Zichen's hand flashed, and the demon's saber appeared in his hand. This was his strongest move. He was confident that he could kill Hui with a slash of his blade at full power. One slash. Hui, what are you doing? Lei Lan angrily rebuked. He was very anxious, but he could no longer enter the space. Hui, put down the talisman. This is just a competition. Liz reminded him. If Hui used the talisman to kill Zichen in this situation, not only would Hui be implicated, but the entire Hu clan would be implicated. Come on, come at me again. Hui, who had almost all of his bones broken by Zichen, gritted his teeth and stood up. He held the talisman in his hand and shouted at Zichen, "Aren't you very capable? Come at me again." Zichen narrowed his eyes, and the frequency of his breathing decreased. You little thief who used your status as a saint to snatch someone else's spot. Come at me if you can. Let me see how strong you are. Hui's body was dripping with blood, and so was his face. Even his eyes were red. He, who had never suffered such a big loss in his life, was thoroughly defeated this time. Those people who were originally called over by him to be his witnesses did not see his rise, but they saw his pathetic side. He believed that it would not be long before his deeds spread throughout the Thunder Clan. He felt that he had lost his face, his dignity, and at the same time his rationality. In his heart, only by killing Zichen or humiliating him could he salvage today's situation. You lost, Zichen said in a deep voice, his left hand holding the black scabbard tightly. I didn't lose. I'm still standing. Come at me if you can. Hui raised the talisman in his hand, ignoring the voice outside the space. Little thief, get over here. He stared at Zichen, his fingers tightening the talisman. Countless lightning bolts surged, and a tyrannical aura began to wreak havoc. If you don't get over here, I'll kill you, he roared in anger, his voice extremely loud. Get over here, kneel in front of me, and admit your mistake. Say loudly that you're wrong, that you're a thief. Zichen looked at him, his serious expression gradually relaxing. Are you sure you want me to do this? Of course, get over here. Don't bargain with me. Quickly kowtow and admit your mistake. Hui had lost his rationality and was roaring loudly at the moment. Zichen's left hand landed on the hilt of his saber. His eyes gradually turned cold, and a trace of killing intent that had never appeared before appeared. It was just a competition, and he did not want to kill anyone. But now his killing intent had been aroused. You're a useless thief who only relies on a saint. Get over here, kneel, and admit your mistake. Don't be pretentious. As long as I crush the talisman, you'll definitely die. Hui was still roaring loudly. I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Don't blame me when you die. The killing intent in Zichen's eyes skyrocketed, and he took a deep breath. Countless lightning bolts burst out from his body. The original demon bone appeared again. He took a step forward, and the isolated space seemed to tremble. At this moment, Zichen's figure gave people a sense of majesty and loftiness. Whoosh! The demon's saber was unsheathed. A flash of light appeared in the isolated space. The light was so bright that people could not open their eyes. The saber light went straight for Hui at an extremely fast speed. Hui, who had lost his rationality, did not have time to crush the talisman. The saber light was already close to him. Boom! The saber light that was close to Hui shattered, and the powerful force sent Hu Wei flying backward. The talisman in his hand almost fell out of his hand. He reacted and wanted to crush the talisman, but he found that he was powerless. There was a powerful force suppressing him. Hu Wei, who had regained his rationality, saw that there was another person in front of him. It was that person who had blocked Zi Chen's attack for him. It was a middle-aged man. He raised his hand and shattered the saber light. Zi Chen stood in the distance and stared at the man. The demon's saber had already returned to its sheath. The middle-aged man retracted his hand and looked at Zi Chen. He said, "It's just a competition. Why do you have to kill?" His voice was not sharp, nor was it a question. It was more like an inquiry. Zi Chen said he has a reason to die. The middle-aged man did not seem to expect Zi Chen to answer in such a way. He was stunned and said, "This is a competition after all." Then his gaze fell on the demon's saber in Zi Chen's hand. His expression changed slightly. "The demon's saber of the demon clan?" Zi Chen nodded. The middle-aged man said again, "The 7 demons' saber?" Zi Chen nodded again. Chapter 30, 391. Moving his gaze away from the demonic blade, the middle-aged man looked back at Hu Wei, but his attitude was no longer as good as before. He said indifferently, "Your skills are inferior, and even your character is inferior. I need an explanation from the Hu family for this." Hu Wei did not even dare to refute and saluted the middle-aged man. He was completely awake, and there was only fear and regret in his eyes, because the middle-aged man did not want an explanation from him, but an explanation from the Hu family. It was related to the family. How could he not be afraid? The middle-aged man waved his hand, and the battle space disappeared. As the middle-aged man appeared, the others saluted him with cupped fists. "Greetings, Chief Commander." This person was the chief commander of the city, a 9-star Saint Spirit. He was the only one who could enter the battle space in time to save Hu Wei. Everyone present was a Saint Spirit, so their vision was naturally very high. They saw the previous battle clearly. If the chief commander did not appear, Hu Wei, who was blinded by anger, would have been killed with a single slash. He did not have time to crush the talisman that he relied on the most. Disperse. The chief commander waved his left hand, clenched his right hand behind his back, and turned to leave. However, the moment he turned around, Liz noticed that there was a trace of dark red blood on the chief commander's clenched fist. Her eyes were immediately filled with shock. Zi Chen actually injured the chief commander with that slash. She looked at Zi Chen again, feeling that he was even more mysterious. Very few people noticed this detail, because everyone was staring at Zi Chen. Zi Chen had already put away his demonic blade and stood there calmly. A 1-star defeated a 2-star, and even almost killed him. Such powerful combat strength was rare in the Thunder Clan, and people with such combat strength often did not need to participate in the assessment to get a spot as a core disciple. No matter how powerful the force behind you was, it could not suppress the rise of such an existence, because all they needed was a challenge. There was such a rule in the Thunder Clan. If they challenged a core disciple, as long as the other party agreed, they could get everything from the other party after winning. The current Zi Chen was fully deserving of being a core disciple, but to live in the Thunder Room, this strength was still not enough. It was not that his combat strength was not strong, but his realm was not enough. Hu Wei stood there in a daze. As he listened to the discussions around him, his expression became even more unsightly. This time, he suffered a crushing defeat. "Let's go." Zi Chen turned around and looked at Liz. "Let's go." Reese finally reacted and led Zi Chen away. Lei Lan also followed. He was also shocked by Zi Chen's battle prowess. If a 1-star could defeat a 2-star, then what about when he was a 2-star? Wouldn't he be able to fight against 3 stars? She felt nervous. What if Zi Chen broke through to 2 stars and had the battle prowess to fight against 3 stars? At that time, wouldn't he not need her anymore? This won't do. I have to go into seclusion properly after I return, and strive to reach 4-star as soon as possible. Lei Lan secretly made up her mind. Ziqin didn't know what Lei Lan was thinking at this moment. He only knew that after this battle, there would be fewer people who wanted to cause trouble for him. After the great commander left, he looked at his right hand. There was a blood stain there. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. I was careless. The blood stain had stopped bleeding, but being injured by a 1-star, no one would believe it if word got out. It's actually the 7-demon blade. The great commander shook his head and said, "To be able to injure me, it seems like this is the legendary 7-demon blade." It is said that there are not many in the demon race who can fuse them when they are in the spirit ascension realm. I didn't expect him to do it. He's really amazing. It's more than amazing. A voice sounded. Didn't you notice that the demon bone was also fused? The great commander heard the voice and looked up. He saw a person standing in front of him. City Lord? He was a little surprised. Was the City Lord also paying attention to the previous battle? The City Lord smiled and said, "No matter what, he is someone who Thunder D. Saint thinks highly of. Naturally, no accident can happen here, but it seems like I worried too much." The great commander said, "City Lord, what did you mean just now? Could it be that his demon bone was also fused?" The City Lord said, "The 7-demon bone, 7-demon blade, and the spirit cultivation saber scabbard are all like this." A look of surprise appeared on the great commander's face. The City Lord smiled. In fact, he had just seen some information about Ziqin, and he was very surprised when he saw it. He had the battle record of killing a divine spirit when he was in the spirit ascension realm. This was not something an ordinary person could do. Then this matter? The great commander looked at the City Lord. Depends on the Hu family's attitude. Ziqin stepped onto the teleportation array that would take him away from the core city. In the next moment, they arrived in the eastern Thunder region. The outer region of the Thunder region was the world of the outer region. The area here was the largest, and it was divided into 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. Ziqin arrived at the eastern Thunder region, which was divided into many star regions. This place was open to the public. So many people gathered here, not limited to the Thunder clan. Moreover, there were many opportunities here. In the Saint Spirit realm, it was one of the few major forces. With the Saint's token, no one dared to make things difficult for the 3. In fact, these people couldn't wait to see Ziqin here. After all, he was a core disciple. As the saying goes, distant relatives are not as good as close neighbors. There were many benefits to being close to a core disciple. The man named Yaheng patiently explained the regions to Ziqin, as well as some good geographical locations. Ziqin listened one by one, and after a moment said, "It's not too good. It's relatively remote. There are no important resources in my world. Only some friends living there." Yaheng, who had always been very respectful to Ziqin, shook his head and said, "No, sir, you're wrong. The early world may be nothing to you, sir, but as your realm increases, you will need more and more resources. Then, the world will become more and more important. In a prosperous world, the tax every 100 years is a very considerable number. The bigger and more prosperous the world, the more people there will be, until this world becomes a new core place." Ziqin understood Yaheng's meaning. A world's core, in addition to being safer, was also more prosperous and more resources. It was said that no matter what level, resources were needed. Those families in the Thunder clan, in addition to having many powerhouses, also controlled many core places. Their wealth was astonishing. If it was Ziqin alone, it didn't matter, but there were many people in his world. Ziqin had to consider their future. Okay, then find a place to develop. Ziqin finally nodded. Yaheng's face showed a touch of joy and immediately said, "Sir, what do you think of this place? It's close to the Ganhai sacred domain. In the early stage, we can build a transmission array here and slowly develop. Zichen nodded and said, okay. Yahung smiled and said, good, sir, can you give me the Holy Thunder token? After I've arranged everything, I'll ask you to create a world. Zi-chan nodded again, and Liz gave the Thunder token to Yahung. Sir, you can walk around here. Maybe you'll find some unexpected good things. This is the most prosperous trading place in the Eastern Thunder Territory. Zi-chen declined Yaheng's idea of arranging someone to lead the way. Then, the three left this place and walked in the trading place. This place was very prosperous and lively. There was an endless stream of people. As a famous, prosperous place in the Saint Spirit domain, Holy Spirits could be seen everywhere. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.